Hmm. One second. Hold on. Sorry, I must be so loud.
Yeah, biscuits or crisps?
These are biscuits, eventually. Yes, bro, style, what's going on? Yeah, the Scooby snacks. But, let's add some people into the live.
Still nothing.
Oh, who's that?
My girls.
Why did you guys make me feel like NASA, man? You guys are like all in the
Stop
panel.
it, they are with me.
No, I'm gonna move you guys
We're
down.
here, Saha.
Don't try, I will go down.
I like that one. Oh, that's a good one, that is. Say that in Bahari. Sayed. Can you hear me?
Yes, you okay? How are you?
Yeah, Sayed, I apologize. I said, look, you guys make me feel very uncomfortable. There's already females on the panel with all the men gone. But, yeah. Sayed, give me a minute. Let the live pick up, inshallah, and then we kind of come to, you know, what's kind of going on at the moment and get your sort of legal opinion on certain issues, because nowadays you've got a lot of people who claim to be some sort of legal experts on issues. So try to add some people up. What's going on, guys? Hi, NASA.
Hey.
Feel free to mute me at any time because I'll be
Yeah,
pottering
brother.
about doing some DIY at the moment.
Yeah, no problem, bro. It's all right. I'm just trying to invite people, so just to kind of boost up the live.
Yeah, I get a couple of... I went real weird because if you don't, obviously I don't know me very well, but I'm going more than quite a few communities.
Okay.
I've got security and fraud background working for government and VIP security.
Beautiful.
So I'm... my background is on Christian faith. I was born Christian.
Beautiful.
But over years I've studied, I don't know, I've studied, not deeply, but I've studied different cultures and beliefs.
Beautiful.
Mainly because from a young age, I used to have premonitions and see spirits.
Amazing.
So a lot of time,
I'll be honest with you. I'm not surprised one single bit. I mean, you couldn't possibly imagine the type of people that come into this live. So it seems to be attracting practically everyone. I just clicked on your profile, and I was just seeing how you kind of look into sort of paranormal, you're paranormal explorer by night. So I think that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I kind of really fallen into that over the last few months, Saeed, because, like I said, as a child, from about age 8 and 9, I used to have premonitions. And at one point, people just put down to having bad dreams and nightmares, but it got to the point is when I had like a new difference between dreaming and premonition, because when I had a premonition, I'd actually go into somebody's like mind and see through their eyes, and then I'd write it down in a book, give it to my parents, and 2 or 3 weeks later, these premonitions started coming true. But obviously, other things were happening at the same time. Both my parents are disabled. My uncle had an operation at hospital and he became brain damaged. So I'm going through things of my own. Obviously fighting with my own. I was that time. I was like most people would say, devout Christian, because I was in Sunday school myself. I go to church twice a week. I went in choir school for local church. I was a volunteer. So I was active in community. I'm still am in some respect, but I've lost members of family through my life, through really
Sure.
bad tragedies. So
Sure,
it made
sure.
me question my own beliefs.
Sure, sure.
But during that time, I've studied all other cultures, so I've got some knowledge of different cultures, and obviously just because of my experience with premonitions,
Sure.
I had to keep that hidden, because obviously with some devout Christians,
Sure.
I mean, you'll see how if you occasionally if you happen to drop in one of my panels where I'm moderating, I'm supporting other people who are whistleblowers, you'll see quite often I get trolled a lot because there's devout Christians.
I know about that. There's rotten eggs in every community, so you don't need to tell me that. I'm already aware of it.
So that's one of the reasons why I've really tried helping people through. I've started supporting crew because I went on one of Crew Lives one day, and Mamble were basically preaching about Enoch and gospel and things, and just by chance, I'd be that week he was preaching to the people in live. I'd actually been researching Enoch and Ethiopian Bible, and I knew some of the things he was saying weren't true. And I thought, well, I'm not a full devout Christian anymore, because obviously, like I said, in the last few months, I've started helping Native Americans in America as well online. So I'm open-minded, but knew straight away some of the stuff they were saying online wasn't true. And I thought, if I've recognised that, and they start saying these things to vulnerable people, this can be a dangerous group. And then I started looking into it, and I thought, if I can help out, and I'll start protecting something like disillusioned souls. And that's when I started working behind the scenes, and people going live in front of like Crew Gatehouse and Crew Main Road, and when Ashams and everybody were going into Crew lives and trying to get followers, I was actually debunking them in lives.
Sure.
And I said at the time, all it needs is like 3 or 4 imams, priests who know theology and history.
Agreed.
All it needs is a group of theologists, priests, bishops, imams like yourself, to get together, sit down, and I'm sure they'll be debunked straight away. Because if I recognise what's happening, I'm sure other people will. Because obviously, I think at some point I might be slightly ADHD, because my mind's occupied all the time. I've been like it a long time, but I get focused sometimes. I know some people have ADHD and they have different forms of ADHD.
Exactly. I think, to be honest with you, it's probably, from what I've seen generally, for some peculiar reason, there seems to be a lot of ADHD people that come into my lives. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, that's weird. Well, because that's a complete topic in itself. Because years ago, ADHD wasn't known as, and when many years ago, one of my and you'll find out I've been made redundant 3 or 4 times through my life, and each time I've studied and retrained. So I've had like 4 or 5 careers. Whenever I've had a new career, I've always gone to private education or night school and studied two other skills. So I'm quite multi-skilled, you know what I mean? And that's why I've been helping Midnight behind the scenes. I've been helping chatting to Midnight online when you've been on and supplying information. Just because when I get focused on something, if I think somebody's doing something wrong, before I start talking about it, I like to do research myself. And then if I enjoy the subject, I'll then do like a certificate or a diploma in it. So sometimes I sit quietly in background, like you do sometimes,
A monitor.
because then you get like a wider scope of feel of what's going on. Okay. And that's what I've been doing in most of the lives. Another thing is, last 18 months, I've self-taught in AI. I've done a couple of online courses in AI. I've done photo editing and other things, because in the last 6 years, I became disabled myself. So I went from doing private security for VIPs all over UK. During COVID, I had an accident and became disabled. So I've had a lot of time to focus on other subjects. So, like in the last 3 years, I've actually added 6 new skills to my portfolio. And I thought, I must start helping people online if I can. And then, like, just curiosity, somebody said to me, why do you go on TikTok? Because you'll find yourself on TikTok. There'll be loads of people who haven't got your experience, and you'll probably be able to help them. And that's why I've tried to keep my content on TikTok as much as I can. There's paranormal, but in between, I'll try to quote not theology, but I'll try to quote true historical truth, but then I'll put like positive manifestation stuff in between. But obviously, I've been sat quietly while you've been chatting in chat because I'm not ignoring you. It's just it's just that way TikTok operates. If some of your listeners aren't aware of it, if you want to monitor lives, if you actually go on TikTok itself and type and go on homepage and at the top there's like magnifying glass for search. If you type in there Crew Webhouse, it'll bring you a complete new live feed of people. Now, if you go onto your mobile, then when that screen's open, you can actually scroll up and down and view the lives incognito, and you can view 3 or 4 lives at the same time. So while you've been viewing, I've had a spare phone or tablet and I've been monitoring all lives active at the same time because then if local people start getting hassle or problems of cult followers, I try to jump in and support people alive. And I think that's just from my own background.
Sure. Can I ask you a quick question? So
yeah,
you've got the whole thing about what was it, Paranormal Explorer at night? Is that something you've done, or you're doing that at the moment?
I've been supporting what I do at the moment, Saeed, is I support a lot of other people who do paranormal exploring, and they send me their videos to either basically to forensically check to see if there's anything was valid on it or not. But I come from a technology background as well, so sometimes I help them source equipment to actually go out and do paranormal investigations. So at the moment I'm doing, I'm supporting them from a technical capacity. So that's why if sometimes when people go lives, they invite me on board and I'll moderate the lives and I'll assist them because of my knowledge. Because basically, I used.
Oh, you've gone and disappeared.
Evening.
Evening, brother. How's it going? You right?
Just so you know, looking at all this stuff that's going on, it's just getting a bit ridiculous now at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you familiar to this group? Have you come across them?
Sorry, Syed?
Have you come across this group before?
No, well, obviously I live in Crewe, so I know they've been around
did
for
I
a while.
see you? I'm not sure if I saw you.
Yeah, no, I think, Syed, I wasn't down at the gates when you were down the other day.
Okay.
But obviously there is a video of me going around shouting at Surmad on TikTok, because obviously he's called someone I know a retard. Sorry if that's gets a violation.
No, that's fine.
But at the end of the day, I asked Nassar on live, does your religion support people with ADHD and autism? Obviously, I've got autism myself. I'm a 36-year-old man. But obviously I shouted it out. You know, he's saying, Surmad said, you know, and both Nassar has said, don't say stuff about us on live, but they're perfectly fine to say stuff on live about, you know, how people are retards and all that. Like, it just offends me.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, it's supposed to be the religion of peace and light, and as you know, it's a mishmash of everything. You know, they kind of have this like open arm policy. So if you look at them from afar, you'd think, yeah, they're all like peace and loving and all of that stuff. But it's only until you clash with them, right? The moment some guest violation. Sorry, it's SW. I think because you said that word, it's decided to knock you off. Yeah, let's see if that makes a difference. I'll bring you back up. Can you bring the brother back up?
I won't say that word again.
Yeah, just to try to not say that word, bro.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
So yeah, I mean, you know, with these guys, I mean, there's a lot to them, and really to go through the whole subject, the history, and all of that stuff, it requires kind of time to learn. Well, to be fair, I think most of the guys here, I was quite impressed. To be fair, this morning we had one of the sisters up on the panel from the UK, and obviously she's kind of been following the live for the last week, and I think she pretty much understood it, like, as in she understood about the history and the how it was formed and who the people are, and so that was quite, impressive to hear, because at least, people are benefiting, and they're learning, right? Which is the most important thing. Otherwise, these lives are, they're in vain, right? There's no point of actually doing them. I know we can get carried away at times, but this is all part of banter and humor. This live is technically 18 plus because it's within the settings as well. So no one under the age of 18 can actually watch these lives. There are restrictions on this live as well. So I know we can all get kind of carried away, but at the same time, I think it's good that we occasionally ground ourselves as well. Because we do stuff, and it can come across childish at times. You know what I mean?
To be honest, it just seems a bit tit for tat. It's like, obviously, from what I've seen, obviously there were people posting on crew community Facebook pages about the religion, and obviously since this all's come out and obviously the priests raided, they seem to be a little more sort of prominent on TikTok. They're posting now a lot more stuff into. They're flooding the crew community Facebook pages with a lot of the posters they've done. And obviously it seems a bit of, a tit for tat about, yourself. It's like the tit for tat. I was like, Syed's this and Syed's that, and then it's tit for tat, and it's just like, why? I just,
To be honest with you, SW, they've been trying to silence me for a long time. So this group, as I said before, I came across this group many years ago in the early days. It's like almost going 10 years back. It was just a little tiny community that practically was very active online, and that's about it. So I was like a silent observer. I used to look at their videos, some of their articles. And then, basically when I switched onto this app, going back 2 years ago, I was quite shocked. I didn't realize that, they had grown as a community. I'd come across videos of Abdullah on YouTube, but I was under the impression that this is some group out somewhere in the US. I had no idea that this was actually going on in the UK, which then kind of made it even more interesting for me because, I considered it a bit of a challenge because it's happening on my front doorstep. And for many years, I've been engaged in polemics with other sort of, denominations within Islam, like with the Shia, Sunnis, for example, because I'm a Shia myself. So I thought, okay, this is going to be an interesting challenge. These guys, I have my differences with other people, but these guys, they're just on a whole different league. And that's the reason why I started coming out and started doing lives and creating awareness and stuff. But at the moment, there's a smear campaign against me because obviously they're affected. And their leader, he's basically gone out and told his these non-working bishops, the ones you see with the beanie hats, to basically do a character assassination attempt. You know what I mean? Just to kind of undermine what I've got to say, don't take him seriously, all the usual nonsense.
Yeah, well, obviously, obviously the police have raided, and obviously he's under this, strict order not to come into crew. But obviously, he's got to be some influence somewhere. He's obviously, shacked up somewhere. Not shacked up, but you know what I mean. He's obviously somewhere in Cheshire because obviously they have to sign every 24 hours. At the end of the day, like, it's just, I don't get it. It's like, I'm not saying I grew up with a Muslim people. My taxi driver, when I was a child, I lived in local authority care when I was younger, and my taxi driver was a Muslim, and both his brothers, I used to get a taxi from my care home to my high school. And both his brothers used to work as a family firm. He used to take me in the taxi to school, and obviously I knew get on with, I've not got any problems with people if they're, Muslim or anything. I've grown up with it, obviously from saying grown up with it, I've grown up with it, taxi drivers used to take me to school and we used to talk about, things, and I'm always like, when you get in an Uber nowadays, drivers, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Pakistan. I'm from Kurdish, or sorry, not Kurdish. From I forget. Can someone help me out? Where's the disputed in Kashmir? Yeah,
Kashmir, yeah.
Kashmir, and I haven't got a problem with that. It's just I don't understand. Obviously they've come under the radar. It's just a bit more. They're on the doorstep. I live in Crewe. I'm spend my time between Crewe and further up in the Cheshire Village. But it's just like what do we do? It's
So
like
what you do is basically you need to kind of become more aware of who you're kind of dealing with and what they're about and the history and and without trying to frighten you too much, there are definitely some sort of alarm bells there. So we've got two issues. You've got, like, as they say, the far right, and you've got the far left. Yeah. So I'm not really interested in what the far right have got to say or the far left, but you just need to keep an open mind, and you can see that there's many layers to this. There's many problems to this.
Yeah, obviously, D14 Entertainment put a post up the other day, and my mugshot is against far right protesters protested last Saturday. So obviously, I've had to put something on. Well, I'm not far right or far left. I'm a Crewe resident.
Yeah, got you.
And obviously, I had to put that out and say, look, I'm not on far right or far left, because I'm not. I don't agree with the UK government at the moment. It's a bit of a
Agreed.
it's a bit of a rubbish dump at the moment. You've got the Labour Party saying Keir Starmer, we'll stop the boats, etc. And it's just a lot of education at the gates as well of Webb House, where some people shout, "Oh, get them out, send them home, send them back on the boats."
Yeah, no, that's just stupid as well. So, I mean, if I had my choice, to be honest with you, they shouldn't have really, the organisation itself, they should have never been allowed in the UK. But right this minute, while we're having this conversation, who's in Crewe at the moment? Is anyone doing a live stream at the gates?
Yeah, that lady that came home last week, decided to unfollow them last week. Can't think of her name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hello, Siege, all right?
Yeah, not bad. You okay? The reason why I'm asking this, the next 48 hours are going to be very important. That's why I'm just curious if anyone's there.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. But I've just been on that Hassam's live, and I said to him, "You're waffling," and he was so sarcastic. He said, "I don't mind having a waffle." And people were like attacking me, and I said, "All right then." I said, "I'm very thick-skinned," and I said, "I'm very level-headed." Ask him about if he knows about the safeguarding policy, considering that he's a registered charity, and they wouldn't answer him. None of them would answer him, and I go, "Yeah, because he didn't have a clue." I said, "Come back to me when you know the facts and you've actually educated yourself about this, whatever it is."
Yeah.
And don't be so horrible. He's got a wife, and I said, excuse my language. I said they didn't give a damn about when NASA was giving women crap and shouting at them. I said, that's not very caring. And
did you go up? Was it you? You said, "Why are you being disrespectful to the lady before you?" Was it you? I can't remember now.
I don't know, but
he shouted at some woman, and then he's like, "Shut up."
Yeah, but I don't know, the brainwash. But I said to them, all of them on that live, I said, "Come back to me when you've got the facts and you've got the receipt. Come back to me. Why are you bullying?" I said, "No." I said, "The only bully is you." I said, "You're bullying me because I've got these facts and receipts." I said, "Ask him about the policy, about the safeguarding." Yeah. None of them asked. I goes, "Yeah, because you all don't know about it." I goes, I said, "I've got a lot of facts. I've been speaking to certain people." I didn't name anybody. And he was waffling on, and I said, "Oh, please," I said, "give it a bloody rest." I said, "So you're giving me a headbang here?" And he didn't care. Didn't care at all. And people just don't know these facts and these receipts. I've been in your life. I've been in I know all the facts and receipts.
Well, I tell you something interesting if you want to hear it.
Go on then, go ahead, love.
So he's joined TikTok in the last 48 hours.
Who?
Abdullah's.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's online.
Wow. Well, you know what I found really weird? Because I'm not going to say too much,
Right.
but I was speaking to Grant on voice note. I'm not saying what platform, and I have, how can I put it? I know somebody who's been in the police for 40 years, and he's dealt with everything you can imagine, murders, all sorts. So I popped round his house, and I don't go into detail, but he knew about it. And I explained what happened last night regarding NASA, and he gave me some advice. And what he said to me was, "You all need to be very careful what you what you say on social media, because it could potentially affect the case."
Yeah, that's
So
true.
people
Leaking out
need,
information and whatnot,
absolutely.
yeah.
But he said what he did last night, there's one or two ways they can do. They can either, if they've got the evidence, which there was a few people who had evidence, so they did ring the police. They said there's one or two ways they can do this. They either can go around and have a conversation and tell him A, B, and C, D, or they could take him, arrest him for sending that information out, because the police didn't even tell the names, because they have to protect him. And they would probably, they would arrest him, take him down the station, interview him, and then it all depends what the CPS, if the CPS thinks it's not enough.
Can I tell you the third possibility, which no one's
Go on
considered?
then.
What if they faked a name just to see how people react to it?
Oh, you know what? That's what people, yes. Good thinking, Batman. You know what? That's
So
not what.
what I'm saying to you is that obviously there's certain things I cannot say, but
No, absolutely
just
not.
telling
No.
you the third possibility, which is they want to see a reaction.
Oh, have you
Push
spoke
out
to Grant about this?
No.
Oh, maybe need to have a conversation with Grant, because he's very, very good with Grant. He's very factual. He's a lovely man.
So these guys are very coordinated, and as I said, Abdullah's here. He's joined the app in the last 48 hours. There's nothing in the bail conditions that actually prevents him from joining any sort of social media or anything like that, as long as it's with his own official account.
Is he on this? Right,
Live.
is he watching this now?
Most likely, yeah.
Oh, hi, hello. Thing is, I don't care, because I'm really thick-skinned and I'm quite level-headed, so I don't really care what they're doing, and if they check me, I really don't care, because I've seen it all, and I've been in your lives a few times, like I was this morning and this afternoon, and the more you tell me these things, the more I'm thinking, yeah, and your thing starts coming back to you, like how he behaves and lives and stuff, and I was telling my parents about, and I'd explain,
bless him.
and I explained to them about you and how you've been trying to,
speak out on this proof.
Yeah, and I said, and he's just been ignored, and my mum was like, that is disgusting. Like, the government, the MP should be utterly ashamed of themselves. Like, there's a man who's trying to save people, like keep them safe, and they've just completely ignored it. And my mum said, this world's just absolutely bonkers. Like, there's a man who's trying to save people and make them aware, but you just got ignored. And now it's like, let's go and raid these houses. And, even the RM, I think I said even our MP raised it a year ago, and he got ignored about it. And my mum and dad said to me, it's absolutely disgusting how you had the decency to,
but
opened
the
up.
thing is, to be honest with you, I didn't actually. Well, I did want to address them and stuff, and I kind of felt I did my bit.
Yes.
But it's actually Sahar that pushed me and said, "You need to deal with these guys because no one can." And I was like, "Why do I need to do it?" And she goes, "Well, because unfortunately, no one can do it." And then I thought, "Crap, okay, fine, I'll do it."
Yeah.
As I said, this is not something I tend to do. I tend to focus more on Shia Sunni discussions and debates and dialogues.
Absolutely.
It's just, as you know, debating is a skill, and if you can utilize that skill in a particular area, you can be good at it. And unfortunately, these guys are stuck with me, and now they're doing this whole defamation thing. They're saying I'm affiliated with Iran, I'm a splinter cell, I'm a PDF, I go
Oh, it's
fly
terrible.
abroad
It's
in Iraq, and
disgusting. I
yeah,
know, I
they're
saw
doing
it.
everything possible.
But
Everything possible.
I have a DBS check. I'm
Yeah.
not going to go with my job.
No, I did that earlier, right? So look, I didn't need
Yeah.
to do that. I don't need to clear my name to anyone, but right.
No,
So I did
absolutely
that.
not.
I was like, listen,
Absolutely
guys, have a
not.
look at this. So these guys, shame on you. You can try as hard as you want, right?
It's
not going to work.
disgusting. It's
Right? So
disgusting.
I
It's
work in an
absolutely
environment
disgusting.
where it involves safeguarding. So I'm totally aware about the rules and regulations. And yeah, why do I need to get my hands dirty? I've got many other people who do stuff for me. So
It's
I'm more
disgusting.
than-
Honestly, like the DBS, I don't think they realise it has to go through so many systems. It takes weeks. Like it
It
took
does
me
months,
weeks, months and weeks
yeah.
sometimes. And
Yeah.
I couldn't start my job until because I'm dealing with kids and children.
Same.
And
Same.
it takes weeks. They have to go through so much protocol.
I
And for
agree.
them, honestly, I like I said, I've got it myself. And, you know, the question I want to know, do they get DBS check? Because
Probably
I got
Probably not.
told by, I'm not naming names, I will message you after. I got told by a certain person that they get DBS checked.
Well, they've come
No.
out and
So-
said, "Go on, Syed."
So with this group, obviously there's been like a whole history in how they migrate and evolved over the years. And
Yeah.
we had an ex-member called
Okay.
Evie. Okay.
Okay.
And she was someone from Germany. Her friend joined the group when they were in Egypt, so she didn't want to send her friend alone.
No.
She traveled with her, and she wasn't officially part of the community in terms of like what they believe in, but she tagged along. She just was part of the community. She was a community member. So her friend married Abdullah's best friend, Joseph McGowan.
Okay.
And she basically went back to, I think, Sweden with them. And she talked about her experience with the group. And she said it was late at night. And I think she went out to basically have a joint, right? Because she didn't want to get caught smoking. So she went out in the forest for a joint. She came back. And she goes, I was going towards the laundry room, and she goes, the lights were off, and it was always kept on. So she said, as she approached the laundry room, right, allegedly one of the guys from the community came out. So this was like a married guy with 2 kids, whatever the case.
How long was this ago,
And-
sorry? How long was this ago?
This is when they were in Sweden, 2005, I think. I don't know.
Oh, right, okay. Right, okay.
So basically she goes, the guy's like, he came out and he's like, get away from here. You shouldn't be here. And she's like, oh, why? And he's like, oh, you shouldn't be here. So what she did is she left, but then she hid and she waited until a boy who she identified as being basically a 14-year-old boy coming out of the same area. in this
Oh,
laundry room.
no.
Yeah.
That's
And
so
she goes,
sick.
she could smell alcohol from there. By the way, I'm not making this up.
I know.
Many of you
no,
guys
I
were witness
believe
to
you.
this. You've heard
That's
this stuff.
making me
day
feel
and
really
night.
sick because I have a daughter who's 14, and that,
Mm.
as a mother, it's upsetting me. I'll be honest with you. That is disgusting. That's just.
So when you're talking about safeguarding and DBS,
Yeah.
and now what DBS are you going to get from some random dude from Iraq
No.
who probably has never been?
No.
Do you get my point? It's not going to work, is it?
Absolutely. You know what? It was on my top. It was on my tip of my tongue to say to Hassan, "Do you have a DBS checked? And do you know how long it takes?" But I'm like, no, because that will be another thing that they'll probably do. They'll probably go, yeah, let's get these DBS checks, and we can prove to people there's, we've done nothing wrong. But do they not understand how much it costs? It's not cheap, is it?
No,
Like,
it's not cheap. It's very expensive. You have to wait for 3 months. I know. 'Cause
Exactly.
Some
And
of the jobs I had to wait
yes.
through, I had to wait for months
Yeah.
for. So.
my job, I had to go have the in-depth one, what you said this
same,
morning.
same,
And honestly, I couldn't start my job with that. And so I had like,
it's horrible, isn't it? It's like
It
a
is.
waiting game. Yeah, I know.
I had to
Tell me about
wait. I had to wait for like 2 months to get mine.
Yeah.
And I start panicking, thinking, oh my God, because I thought
Yeah,
I've
but
done
done something
nothing.
wrong. No, I know. You think, what
But
is
as soon as I
the
got
plan
that
when
paper, I was so happy.
Yeah,
But I know it's every 3 years they have to,
That's
you have
it.
to like, it's automatic, isn't it? You have to do it automatically.
Exactly.
But with my job, I'm quite lucky.
Exactly. Sorry, you sir? Moonshot?
said, for the 3 years, the first time you get it within the month, you can go on the update system, just pay 19 quid and it
And it's
updates.
automatic.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
Good.
Yeah.
Then you won't need to mess about when it comes to the third year. You'll receive it straight away.
Yeah, that's
But
what
yeah,
I do.
but
I
these guys
work
don't
in
have
the
the DBS.
sector.
Oh,
I work in the sector.
DBS.
So for anybody overseas that's either not been in the country for more than 10 years or been out of the country for more than 6 months in 5 years, you do the DBS check and an overseas police check. So it's not just as simple as that for anybody that's not a UK
Oh,
national.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
And
didn't realize
then,
there was
yeah,
overseas.
and somebody in the chat's just said the exact same thing as I was thinking. A DBS only really proves that you've never been caught for something.
No. Are they, can I add it? Are they all, like, the people in that house, are they all here, like, illegally, or have they been
It's a
somebody...
mixture. So what they've
Right.
done is, so obviously you have some of the people like from the West. Obviously they're going to be nationals from whichever
Yeah.
country that is. They'll have residency. They'll have passports.
Right, okay.
Then there's discussion about them having dual nationality, which is that they've basically purchased, because they can invest in certain countries a certain amount of money. You can
Okay.
get nationality from those countries, which I'm not going to mention which countries they are, but they'll have dual nationality, right? So that's the
Right.
other option. The third
Right.
is basically they create a job, right? They create a job and they'll advertise this job and they'll bring in one of the community members from another country and hire him as employee as a trained member of staff. Do you get my point? A
Yeah.
skilled member.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is what basically that whole investigation is about as well. The idea
Right.
about,
I get,
abuse of asylum and,
yeah.
claiming that you have a business set up and then you're inviting people as these experienced people, but they don't know anything. Do you get my point?
Yeah, how, I know you might not, I can't answer this, but how would the police find out? Like, what would they have to, like, will they have to do, like, checks or, like...
Yeah, of course. I mean, let's assume someone claims to be a Mr. Dentist. I think,
Okay.
they'll probably put someone in the seat and say, come and show us what to do, right?
Oh,
So
right,
I'm sure
okay.
there's going to be someone claims to be a doctor or a Mr.
I get
Doctor.
you now. It's just
So
because
there's
they
going to be
don't,
ways to.
it's because they don't explain to you. Like, they just, like, they give you the statement, but they don't actually explain, like, what you've explained. You've not go into detail what it's all about and stuff like that. They just go, yeah, they've been done for this and this and this. But with you, I think you've really explained what it's, what, what's,
But here, I want to give you something else more interesting, yeah? I don't think you guys are ready for it, to be honest with you.
Go on, just, you know what, just do it. You always surprise me every time I go on live, you say something.
What if there was someone who was under radar by international organizations, but they somehow disappeared amongst them?
What? Say that again. Say that again.
Nah, I'm not going to say that again. I'm not going to say that again.
Are you being serious?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just hypothetically speaking. Let's assume that there's someone who's very powerful, who's wanted, and they just wanted to slip off the radar. And that's potentially a route they could take. Is that a possibility?
No, is that right?
Why not? Why not?
Because they're under
another
the
thing
radar.
is...
Because they're under the radar. Is that right?
Nah, because people always drop off under the radar. But look, anyway, forget all that stuff. Here's another possibility. So one of the things they always act on is this whole thing about they're a religiously persecuted group, right? So they always go on about this, and they'll appeal to places like Turkey, Egypt, or Africa, parts of Africa. So what they do is they'll get one of the community members to make a video to pledge allegiance, and you'll see it. It's always uploaded on their accounts on their YouTube. So what they do is they'll get this guy who's sitting somewhere in Indonesia, and as you know, Indonesia is probably, I think it's like the 4th largest Muslim country in the world. It's like massive. It's like, if not probably the 2nd or 3rd, right? Indonesia is huge. So Indonesians are quite strict generally. So let's assume they get someone from Indonesia. He makes a video pledging his allegiance to this organization, right? Okay, so they've got record of that, yeah? Then they utilize this person to go to, let's say, I don't know, the town center of wherever their place is in Indonesia. And then he basically starts, you know, I don't know, promoting this group. Let's say he walks into town center with the rainbow flag, hypothetically. He's not going to be met with roses. We have to be realistic here, right? Because there's a lot of communities out there who don't really tolerate that. So what they'll do is he's going to probably get attacked. He's probably going to get arrested. And then they use this as a pretext to basically bring that person into the UK. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah. Yeah.
So it's essentially the abuse of the immigration system as well. So if somebody pitches up at Heathrow, wherever, and says, listen, I'm the original Peace and Light. This is my video, I pledge allegiance. I can't go back, because if I go back, I'll probably get unalived because my Mahdi's here. He's my savior. Okay, so why do you feel as if you cannot go back? Oh, because, you know, I believe certain things that, quote unquote, the Muslims don't believe in, and if I go back there, they're going to unalive me. Right? Then it becomes a safeguarding issue, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
do you understand? So there's many layers to this. It's so complex that it just keeps opening into these different.
It's like different doors keep opening every day.
Yes.
Like every day you shut one and then another one opens, and then like it just keep opening these doors constantly. Like last night the door was open for what he said, and now that door's been kept open. But yeah, I get what you mean.
There's plenty of doors, plenty of back doors as well, but that's a topic for another time. Midnight. What's going on? Sorry, I just want to introduce you to this brother Midnight, because this brother Midnight, when we were doing these lives going back a year and a half ago, he by pure coincidence, he just happened to come into the live, and he caught notice of this group when he was claiming to be the Pope. But this brother, by the way, he's done really good content as well on his account. I would really recommend it. Midnight, you can tell us some of the content you've done very briefly.
Hey guys, greetings. I'm back from occultation. Ahmad Hassan says, sorry, silently. He says he
Hello,
apologizes to you.
Midnight.
Hey Sunshine, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
So yeah, a little bit about this group, a little bit about what I've got into. I started back last year in May, about right a little bit before Easter, where he came up. He's like, I'm the successor to the Pope. I'm the successor to Jesus Christ and Muhammad. And he's just saying all this blasphemous stuff, right? And I was like, who is this guy? What the heck is this? And I just had no clue. You know, I thought that it was just a branch of Islam. And then I looked further. I'm like, oh, crap, this is a cult. So with that, they started talking crap on my channel. You guys can go in there and talk about it, because I come from a Christian perspective. And as I'm going through, they take out like their whole army, their horde of freaking social media people, and they just started spamming my channel saying you need to investigate without prejudice, Labaic Abasadik, all that stuff. I was like, what the hell is going on? So Seha goes on and starts trying to essentially argue with me and starts saying stuff like, I need to investigate about prejudice. I'm prejudiced. I'm like, bro, I'm ex-law enforcement. I'm, I can investigate. I can do it really well. You sure you want me to do that? And I did. I went in, I started digging. I found a bunch of stuff. I started profiling on the person of Abdullah Hashem and started looking into the group. And what we have is collectively, between Syed Ali and I, is that we essentially have stuff going all the way back to really 2010 on this group. And what I have available on my YouTube account is really, you probably only want to watch the 2 videos. You don't need to look at the other videos. Those are more personal, and it's related to my faith in Christianity. And so if you're a Christian, go ahead, feel free to take a look at it. And then if you want, go take a look at the comments. That's where it started. But the first video I have is really on his beginnings, right? He started off as a filmmaker, one that's, he had his group called Prophet Buster. He was trying to expose different cults like Prophet Yahweh and the Aurelians. He infiltrated the Aurelians, made a short film documentary trying to expose them. And also in the process, what I found out was on a blog, after tracking like a bunch through YouTube, just following the trails, I saw that there's this guy out there calling out Joseph McGowan, because Joseph McGowan made a video talking crap about Abdul Hashem and how he has a God complex, he's a manipulator, just go watch that first video. It's part 1. It's on my channel. Part 2 is mainly about Ahmed al-Hassan, and that's their core belief, right? That's their first Mahdi. That's the first Yamani, right? That's the Yamani. That's where it all started. So it's just a little bit of background. It's going to be out in part 3, and you'll hear in this live. We actually talk about it quite a bit. Is that here? Let me just open this up here too. You'll hear that. What do you call it? They'll talk about white banners, black banners. Just know that there's a deep history that spans from that group from 2011, right? So I'll break it down. 2010, 2009, or really 2009, all the way to 2010 and 2011. Abdullah Shem is doing documentaries, merging conspiracies with religion. 2011, he finds the white banners and starts claiming the call and pulls in his friends and also the people that have followed him in his documentaries. People like Ali Reza, people like Ali Muhammad, Joseph McGowan, all those people, Yahya, they start flocking in and they start following him. And then he starts a hausa, or a religious house, to follow that call for the white banners. But then there was beef. They had beef between the white banners because somebody within their group told them, like, hey, Abdullah's got all this money and he's keeping it for himself because he was making content promoting Ahmed al-Hassan, right? The guys from the white banners, because that's what they believed in. But when he had that power, he had that money, he held on to it. And then they found out that the white banners were also lying. And then it became a battle between two lying groups that wanted to claim that they had the right Ahmed al-Hassan, right? So at this point, it's no longer just following the beliefs. At this point, is now, hey, we're both liars, but we're going to try to get the most followers. And that's when the Black Banners was forged. That was when they departed and started saying stuff like he is the riser of the family of Muhammad, and started saying, like, you know, oh, look, my name Abdullah is in the will. And that's the type of doctrine and the text that they start to manipulate so that the religion that they're in starts to be all about Abdullah, if that makes sense. I'm just tracking. I don't want to. You guys...
Yeah, bro.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, and then they'll claim stuff like, man, they were persecuted and all this stuff, but in reality, there's a lot going on within that group that was just demonic, just satanic, just full of lies. There's so much stuff that I can't even say, I can't even talk about because I don't have. How can I prove this? It's going to be out there. It's going to be out there. Part 3 is going to be awesome. Part 1, part 2, like we talk about it. We show stuff here, snippets of it. If you guys come into this live with Sayyid Ali and Moonshot, you'll hear and see what we're showing. But part 1 is just really, it's all proven out there. It's a known thing. And what happens is the group is like, oh yeah, you know, he's a righteous man. That's why he is exposing. But what you guys don't know is, you have to follow the land of the law. He left the United States after the whole court order and everything, and he went over to Egypt and kept continuing to study religion. You know, because that's what he was doing in Indiana, Purdue, studying religion, comparative studies. So he's, in my opinion, he's been doing this stuff a while back. He's been planning this. In my opinion, he's been planning this a while back. He's not dumb. He's smart. It's just the manipulation. Like, you can only lie so much, you know, you can only lie so much before it spirals out of control. And that's the beauty of lying, right? You lie and you'll get exposed. But part 2 is about Ahmed al-Hassan, and really it just talks about like Jun al-Sama, right? There's this like fanatic group back then when America came in and invaded Iraq. It destabilized the region, and there became like a Sunni versus Shia war, right? Like, it made a little pocket, a little void. So different cults rose up and through different religious groups. And one of them was the Soldiers of Heaven. And the subject there, he claims he's the Mahdi, and he was in bed with this guy named Ahmed al-Hassan, who is the Yamani. And what happened was there was a huge battle in 2007 when the Iraqi police rolled up on a farm, right? They were rolling up on the farm, and the farm had like a bunch of cult members. They're all wearing beanies as well, by the way. And they shot up the police. The police started asking for backup, asked the U.S. military for backup. The cult there shot down a U.S. military helicopter, and it became a big battle. It's called the Battle of Najaf. And man, I'll say this: like that battle was like it's a lot. We don't know how they got their weapons. I think intelligence agencies may have been involved there to cause problems, and I think maybe the CIA may have been involved, and then like they lost the control, and the U.S. military just kind of got involved. That's just my opinion, but yeah, the main Mahdi guy in that battle in 2007 died, and then 2008 there was another one, and that's when the police reports said that Ahmed al-Hassan had died within the battle. So this goes all the way back to those times, and then between that time and now, if anybody talks about Ahmed al-Hassan between 2007 2008 all the way to now, it's in my opinion all just lies, all just fabricated control. You know, because you can, if people have a huge following and they died, you can use that following to continue to manipulate. But I've been doing this research since last year. I found more stuff this year, but I am in the process of compiling everything together, and all this will be available for everybody to look at in the future. Like, you can go down and do your own research. We kind of do it for you here. We try to make it simple for you to follow along.
Exactly.
It's
God,
because
you've got a lot of information there. Wow, a lot of information.
that's just the tip of the iceberg. And if you like, the biggest thing that I want people to realize is look at the intentions of this group. If you look at the group from like 2,000 miles up, down, like from the sky, look down. I think the organization is very put well together, but I think it's not very well hidden. It's orchestrated and created, in my opinion, to control its members, not people, right? They're public about it because I think Abdullah likes that type of fame, likes that type of, attention. But if you look at how it's orchestrated, it's so that the members stay within. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you read the goal of the wise. It's not so that people will join. It's so that the believers don't become disbelievers. So,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've seen a lot of lives when they keep reading that book constantly all the time. It's just, it gets too much, gets overwhelmed a little bit.
Have you
That's like-
come across the? I'm guessing obviously everyone's quoted door number 5 to you, but have you actually seen the sort of extracts from door number 5?
No,
Never.
because
Okay,
thing
have
is,
you
it's
eaten?
just, yeah,
Have you
it's
eaten
just,
dinner?
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, that'd be
You've had
great.
dinner. Okay.
Yeah, thank
Right,
you.
cool. So this is from door number 5. You can see from the screenshot. This is taken from the official website, Aropa website. So they have the PDF version, and then they have like the book uploaded as links. So you have door number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So this is door 5, and I'll quickly read some of the stuff in there. So it says, so here we see that actually this, oh, sorry, the gloves are covering it. Secret doctrine, which Jesus, peace be upon him, was teaching. The doctrine of the consumption of Jesus Christ that caused the people to abandon him and be repulsed by him. So what does it mean by the consumption of Jesus Christ, peace be upon him? Let's have a look. When Jesus indeed speaking about semen, when speaking about that which wanted his followers to consume. Question mark. Was Jesus indeed speaking about semen when speaking about that which he wanted his followers to consume? Question mark. Okay, that's a bit better. Continue. We see here clearly that Jesus is not referring to regular drinking water, but some other kind of fluid which he calls living water. Semen is also known as living water. Continue. The Pharisee would not have been disgusted and would not have denied Jesus' prophethood simply because a sinful woman kissed his feet. However, he would have serious doubts if a sinful prostitute would have performed oral sex on him. Since feet is a euphemism for genitals, this woman kissed Jesus' genitals and performed oral sex on him. Thus, through the consumption of his semen, all her sins were forgiven. And this is what understandably shocked the Pharisee when he walked in and witnessed it. And as a result, he lost faith. And then it continues and it says, in another strange Gnostic tradition, Jesus performs a miracle in front of his closest disciple, Mary Magdalene. And then it states a Gnostic book, and it claims that he took Mary Magdalene up to the mountain where he pulls a woman out of his side, meaning this is like a miracle, and engaged in sexual intercourse with her. Then upon ejaculation, Jesus drinks his own semen. That's just like a part of door number 5. That's just literally one chapter. Door number 1, door number 2, 3, 4, 5. And
you want me to show the video?
Sorry?
Could I ask you a question? Why did they have to kiss his feet for?
Whose?
The people like kiss the God's feet. Like, why did he have to?
Okay,
kiss
okay, I got you. So generally speaking, the idea, the whole thing about, sorry, give me a second. Let me just change this background.
It's just because I've seen a lot of people talking about feet and stuff, and people laughing about it. And I just
yeah. So basically, there's some passages in the Bible that talk about and by the way, it's similar to Islamic tradition as well. We have this idea between a teacher, student sort of relationship, in the sense about, you need to honor the teacher, but at the same time, the teacher, he needs to remain humble and honor the student. So the idea is that Jesus teaches his disciples about what is to be a good teacher, to be humble. Okay. So there's something symbolic there about washing the feet. But these guys, they made it into something perverted. Yeah, they accuse others of being perverted, right? Which is, they claim that feet is a euphemism for genitals. And when Jesus was talking about actually washing the feet, he wasn't talking about the washing the feet. He was talking about washing the genitals. In fact, Midnight Shout, you got the clip here, right?
Sir?
Yeah, play it. I thought so. Go on, play it.
All right. All right, just waiting for it to play.
You might need to put the volume up.
But they have a twisted malpractice of it. This is what led to the molestation of so many children in the Catholic Church. Because those who are in the know are attempting to carry out these practices with young boys, which is an abomination. And those who draw and paint sacred images of the Last Supper, they know the secret. And here is the image of Jesus with the disciple, which he loved most. Notice the position of the scroll, and notice the position of the disciple. Here, pass it on. Here's another one, lest somebody say that it was simply a mistake. Jesus is pushing down the head of the disciple. They say it's
sick.
That's clearly not what's happening here, is it?
Look.
Pushing the head of the disciple somewhere else.
Apparently, we sickos. They say we have a sick understanding. Look at this one. It's even better.
What's taking place here? And yet, what about this painting? Here's another one right here. What's happening here yet? And what is taking place here? Until next time.
Oh, that is disgusting.
That's nothing. I guess
if you want to know,
you have a dirty mind. Sorry, why? Because you just don't understand it. You know, they say this. They say, yeah, but the thing is, you guys have a dirty mind about this issue. I mean, what is a normal mind then? For God's sake.
That's disgusting. That is.
So you can't.
And
You can't.
their
The
whole.
video's off.
Sorry, bro.
I can't
Yeah,
even
the
get my
video's
head.
offline. You can't get to it unless you go to the Wayback Machine. So
I
that's
can't
where I
even get my
got it.
head around that. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. That is.
So what they did is they started hiding this stuff away. But thankfully, there's ways to retrieve this information, and what you're seeing here is a video that's actually unlisted. They've unlisted it from the channel.
Can I ask you why they started hiding it away? Like, when did they start hiding it away? Like, has it
Because
been
people like me and people like yourself and everyone here, because we started saying,
right?
hold on a
So has it
second.
been recently then they've been hiding it, or
Yes, in the last year or so.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Absolutely mind-boggling.
Side.
Yes, brother. I know. I'm aware they're shifting out of the area by the looks of it.
Can I ask you?
Yeah, they're going in and out with blacked out windows out in the back, so you can only see the driver.
Yeah, they're moving people out from there. I think they might
Can
be
I ask you a
shifting.
question?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
You know, last night when I'm not going to say his name, when like you said, like when he supposedly exposed this lady.
Yeah.
Would the police told him who it was, or would they have just guessed?
Yeah, they would
who
have
it
done,
was?
definitely. The ones who the allegations have been made against, the ones who are
Right.
out on bail. In fact, there's a solicitor right here, right now. I can bring him up. Let me see if I can bring him up on the live.
Oh, thank you, lovely.
Give me a second, hold on.
Oh, and so we can swap places now.
I'll step down so you can get him up.
Another question: why are they moving them out of the house? Like, what's going on? Like, do they think they have a suspicion that's going to be the police coming in, or do you think they've just get them out of the house?
Just wait for the surprise. We found something out anyway.
Okay, guys, I've just invited him up. He's actually, give me a second. He's requesting, hopefully. Give me a second.
Sorry, I keep asking these questions, but I think
No, please. You know what?
you took more sense.
No, it's very important to ask these questions.
It's because I live in Crewe as well, so you know I'm not far from there. So it's just a bit worrying that I can't even go to the park. Like, I've got my grandma's bench at the park, and I can't even go and sit. I can't even sit on there because of what's going on. It's just not horrible times at the minute.
So this brother here, Hassan, he's like my older brother. I've known him for many years. I can't even begin to tell you the type of projects he was involved with and the type of websites and articles he's written. That he's always been like a hidden person. This guy has brother Hassan. So by profession, he is a lawyer, and he's obviously been aware of what's kind of happened with this group and everything like that. So I was just discussing this topic about how they're kind of celebrating and rejoicing that there's nothing against him, right? And he's going to go freely. So Sayyid Hassan, are you there?
Hi there, Assalamu alaikum everybody. How are you? You okay?
Yeah, not bad, Sayyid. Sorry. So just kind of want to go over some of these things, right? Because obviously from a legal perspective, how this works. So in terms of the community, they're kind of celebrating and they're like under the impression that, oh, he's going to walk out freely with this whole thing. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know what they're celebrating about. He's still under investigation. And if there was really nothing, it could have been set free straight away. He's if there's nothing to celebrate, why is he not allowed to go back to the site? He's got to stay away, and he's got bail conditions. So if the great leader and his, was it 10, how many other people, is it 10 or 11 others have been under investigation?
11 to 13.
11 to 13.
Yeah.
No one's been set free. They're all under investigation, and don't assume that, the proof is, it's taking them for ages to charge. No, it's clearly going to be a lengthy process. If you looked at, the original pictures, obviously on the day of the incident itself, when the police entered, it's a huge building, huge complex. We don't know what the hell's been going on. Huge investigation. So it will take time. I mean, if I give you a summary, generally within English law, you have like the two main types of offence are those which are summary. So basically those are less serious offences. And essentially the normal position is from the point that an individual's been charged with an offence, you only have 6 months in which to then bring it before the court. That's just the general principle of a summary offence. Something that's more serious, that could be a lot lengthier. There's no time limit. So as soon as they get the evidence, or they'll review this sufficiency of evidence to take it to, basically the police don't make that decision to charge. I've heard that clown Nasser been saying on his lives about the police making decision. It's got nothing to do with the police decision. They have the evidence is presented to the Crown Prosecution Service. If their lawyer takes a view that that's sufficient, they'll charge. And because these offences are much serious, the allegations are serious. They are what they call indictable offences, with a much, much higher type of sentence, and of the more serious nature. They're not under any pressure to wrap this up within 6 months or 9 months or whatever. No, not at all. So no, because it doesn't surprise me at all, looking at how big this investigation is, and don't assume when you're collecting this type of evidence from funny thing is, in the old days I was involved in prosecutions as well, so I do know what that evidence means, how you have to collate that evidence. It's going to be painstaking. I mean, I don't know how many victims have come forward. I mean, certainly on the news they talked about one, so they've got one evidence, and obviously that's giving them leads, because if you notice that upon entry they're looking at other, not just one, there's not a solitary offence that they're looking at, right? They're looking at offences of modern day slavery, which is essentially, keeping people against their will, which is all part and parcel, which this great paradise on earth that they've created. I wouldn't be surprised exactly what's happening, and you know what this culture like. I mean, say that Alhamdulillah, you've done immense work on that. I mean, for all the years we've known each other, it's been a long time, but certainly it's almost become a 10-year obsession of yours. You've focused on it. At times, I used to wonder, what's he talking about? I'll be honest with you, 10 years ago, seriously, 10 years ago, you'd have your lives, and I'd think, well, are they really relevant? Honestly, it was almost like, why are we giving them any sort of importance? But you've proven exactly why it's so important. But sorry, I go off on a tangent. I was talking about the evidence itself. Because the nature of the allegations are quite so serious, it's going to take them a while to look at the evidence. Trust me, I see a number of things coming from this. I reckon, obviously it's all allegations, but I would not be surprised if some individuals are going to be charged with, these types of offences, holding people against their will. Some types of offences under the Sexual Offences Act. I would not be surprised a single bit. But there's other things as well. I mean, if you look at, they keep talking about individuals with different nationalities, and I'm not in any way making any suggestion, but I would not be in the slightest bit surprised if some of these individuals are probably haven't got legal paperwork to just remain in the UK, and we've got these individual, this great Imam has taken these type of people in under his wing. They might be weak, they might be vulnerable, their immigration status hasn't been determined, or it may have been against them. How do we know they're not being taken in? Again, I'm just suggesting, I don't know the evidence, but things which I would not be surprised about at all. I think these are the sorts of things. I mean, part and parcel is anyone who's done any research of any nature of these sorts of cults, it often involves sexual type of deviancy. So I will not be surprised if some of those allegations which have been made are proven true, because that's exactly how they operate. And particularly if you, obviously on many occasions you've read The Goal of the Wise, some of it is absolutely obscene. And like you just mentioned, that door number 5, I mean, that for us, I mean, as Muslims and Christians, we obviously hold Prophet Jesus, we see him as a prophet, how the Christian position is. We still have immense love and respect for that, for Jesus, peace be upon him. And the sort of filth that is being presented there is it's a disgrace. And like, you wonder, why are they presenting this type of filth? Are they doing that on purpose to, if you think about it, a few times I've heard Nasser talk about, oh, well, if our Imam is being oppressed, so Jesus Christ also faced oppression, blah, blah, blah. So these sort of comparisons which are being made between Abdul Hashim and Jesus Christ, I mean, I can't, uttering their names together is just it's self-offensive. But you're wondering if you then link that to the passage that you read, I'm wondering whether the said individuals, would you be surprised if he's acting upon that for a certain reason?
And ex-members are saying the same thing, but say just very quickly, in terms of the courts, so will this court be open for the general public, for anyone to attend? How would it work?
Yes, absolutely. Because I mean, don't forget, it's a lengthy process. Let's assume even if the individual is charged, particularly the court process is so slow in this day and age, it's going to take a long time due to delays. But I'll tell you what happens. First and foremost, as all charges, if they are charged, initially they'll appear before the magistrate's court. And obviously, yes, you can even attend the magistrate's court, but it'll be a very quick hearing. It's generally just to confirm their name, the address, where they're pleading. Then from there, it goes on.
Oh, well, you're back. You're gone out of the live, Sayed. Can't hear you. You need to come back in.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
The Crown Court. The Crown Court is where, because of the serious nature of these offences, that's an open court. They have a public gallery. Any members of any member of the public can attend and listen in on what's being said. Okay, but I mean, I'm assuming. Trust me, it would be. Well, I'm not sure when they'll be charged, but typically, if they are charged, I know they're showing off that nothing's happened. Well, let's see. They're still under investigation, and like I say, there's no smoke without fire. And they haven't been let go. They're still on bail conditions. If they are charged with that eventuality, it goes to court. It might well take it a year. I'm telling you why, because if you look at the level of the depth of the investigation, and I think I would not be surprised if this investigation goes internationally, because don't forget, there's such serious allegations. How do we know some of these people have been trafficked? If they have, where they come from? Is there a link with other, these members in other countries? It could become a huge investigation and, charges. So, yeah, don't be surprised if it takes another 12 months for a matter to appear before the court itself, a Crown Court, for a hearing, and then it's public gallery and people can attend. But I can imagine, I'm telling you now, because of the depth of interest, you'll have to queue up in advance to make sure you can get your seat in that court.
So you're saying that you can basically sit there with popcorn and just watch the whole
thing?
Yeah,
absolutely. Anybody's allowed to go into a Crown Court gallery. It's not a problem at all. But like I say, the level of interest, there's going to be journalists, and particularly after I think and knowledge base increase, particularly B. Schofield produced that series of articles. So then it's got even more traction. Could you imagine the gallery will probably be full of journalists in advance? So anybody who wants to attend, I'd strongly suggest you queue up well in advance to make
basically
sure you
put a tent outside, because his followers are
absolutely his followers will be there as well. I mean, there's no separation. Any member of the public can come. So the important thing is that people, you queue up and make sure you beat the rush, because you can see the BD house queuing up as well in advance to get themselves there.
Hey, Hassan.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Do you do criminal prosecution or like defense?
No, I don't. But I mean, I've got knowledge of that area. I mean, my area is different, but I mean, certainly at this level, you do know what that involves. I can tell you right now.
We can bring the barristers in if you want us to, innit?
All that, yeah, that's no problem. All the nonsense that they're talking about, like saying there's nothing there. Well, trust me, they won't be on bail if there's nothing there. They are investigating, and it's clearly extensive. I mean, there's other points which say that I mentioned to you on the phone when we're chatting, which is obviously I've worked with local authorities, and it's interesting. There's definitely going to be kids within that site. None of them go to school, so they must be having homeschooling. I think it's the Education Act, Section 7. Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember now. But I do know that when you do homeschooling, you need to have a proper curriculum, etc., which evidences why you require homeschooling. Now, I'm telling you why, because, first of all, have these individuals told local education authority when we're opting our children out and we're going to homeschool them? Are they aware of it? And to be honest, now that the doors are open, I'll be fascinated to know. There's no statutory requirement for education authorities to go in and demand to look at the curriculum. But if anything is highlighted, that could massively impact on the right to homeschool. I'm absolutely convinced that they've got kids in there and all they're doing is they're indoctrinating them into their own filthy cult without any other type of schooling about those topics which are relevant to live in British society. I'm not saying homeschooling requires you to have bloody, experience, knowledge in chemistry and physics. No, but it needs to be sufficiency for education. And there's general requirements you need to satisfy. I seriously doubt whoever those kids are under the age of 16. I know there's homeschooling, but let's see what it is. And I'm so sure that they've never ever disclosed the fact, A, how many kids are there, and B, that they've notified the local education authorities that those kids are going to be homeschooled.
But the rumours are saying there's two rumours. Number one, for the last couple of days, they've been shifting in and out quite a bit. Potentially, they could be moving out of the orphanage, right? The
when you say they, what do you mean? Children?
Members of the community. Members of the community.
Okay, they've been shifting out. Okay, go on.
So, I mean, the rumours are that basically they're leaving the compound. Where they're going, I don't know. Whether they're going towards Scotland, Wales, right? So there's different theories about where they're potentially going. So.
But when you say leaving, have people actually see them physically leaving the orphanage?
Yeah, I mean, there's actually vans coming out, like, there's these sort of what do you call them? These sort of taxi vans you get, these big, the special type of vans, those shows.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of machine, equipment going around. Basically, look, there's something happening in the area. So, as I said, it's more than likely they're shifting, they're moving out, possibly.
I got an email from one of our regulars here, and it's a post. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about the UK, but where's Surrey at? Surrey? Surrey?
Sorry.
So this is the post according to the TikTok, and I guess there's the members in the back right here. But if you go scroll down, hold on, I don't want to dox myself or the person. They said that there is a place in Surrey like this. It's in the countryside near Runfold.
There's many places in Surrey, my friend, like that. Surrey's like huge areas. In fact, funny thing, say that Ali Imam will know that area. Don't you? Surrey, Woking, all those areas.
Very well.
They've got huge ground areas. There's large listed buildings. Many people with a lot of money have large castle type developments in Surrey. It's a greenery. It's their plush buildings, and they often listed buildings, like they're protected, like with large, courtyards. So who knows? I mean, they've got plenty of money. I mean, one thing we've had discussion before, say that, the site itself, who actually owns it? This site?
It's a joint, so it's owned by a sort of building corporation of some kind. So it's joint partnership. It's not just
Do you know if there's a mortgage on there? Was it bought freehold? Do you know on the charges register? You wouldn't know, would you?
I have no idea, bro.
Okay, but if you could ever show me the charges register, I'll let you know, because I'll be fascinated to know. Because I'm telling you, obviously, my main area of law is planning, and I'll be fascinated to know, because that is definitely looking at that building. It's almost certainly a listed building, and I'm telling you, it'd be very, very expensive to purchase. So I'll be fascinated to know if they didn't get a mortgage, how did they get so much money?
Probably in a trust.
Was it a trust that purchased it?
These type of Brother Hassan, these type of building.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. So these type of building, there is a lot of asbestos, as far as I know. I do explore as well old areas. So, do you think that there should be a regulatory body who will go around first, check and clear the asbestos? Because these buildings surely have asbestos, and you need a professional company to go and first survey, remove it properly, dispose it, and then because I don't know with the law enforcement, how did they pass through, And now, after 5 years, the crew resident found out, oh, there's been 56 children living there. Home education, it's a bit dodgy.
It is dodgy. I wouldn't go with the asbestos argument, to be honest. Normally, when you purchase a site, all that comes from disclosure. And if there was asbestos concerns, I don't. It would have been picked up by the authority there. I don't think that's an issue. I don't think, in terms of. I'd be more concerned about the other points that I've just said. Like on homeschooling. How many kids did you just say? 56 kids?
Yeah. So some kids have not apparently been returned to their parents.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Really?
Doesn't surprise me at all. Because like I'm saying to you, because it's very, very unusual. You've got this large cult premises. I don't know if they call it a religion, but we know we refer to them as a cult. With that number of children, none of them being homeschooled. We don't have any form of formal education. You can't. Honestly, I'm telling you now.
So last time I spoke to NASA, he told me that this doctor. Sorry. Last time I spoke to someone I know, he told me that, for example, that Dr. Irfan, the one with glasses, you might have seen him in some of the videos, the Pakistani guy, the one who allegedly, quote unquote, takes injections. According to my source, his kids are not being returned to him.
Right. There you go. And I'm telling you, listen, this is what
Which is a bit sad because, it's sad and not sad, but the point is, they've taken his kids and a few kids, but I mean, why would they take his kids? I can tell you now because what has he done?
During interesting is because I a long time ago, even when I was training to become a lawyer, one of the seats I did was childcare. So I do know, trust me, there's a really, really high threshold when a local authority decides to take your kids away. Trust me. Don't assume that it's not very easy to take children away. And I think in these circumstances, if they were taken that quickly, they would have made an emergency order to take those kids away. There must be some say. It's extremely difficult to take your kids away. Do not assume there's a very, very high threshold.
That's what NASA told me.
And that's interesting because if a local authority intervenes and takes your kids away, there must be some serious stuff going down, serious concerns. You don't just take children away. You don't. You can't. And the irony of it is these guys are tooled up in terms of they've got legal representation. So if they have got such strong legal representation, they'll be able to fight those allegations tooth and nail and stop.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Oppose them. Do you understand me? Trust me, I've sat on very early in my trainee days. I sat on these panels. So I do know. When they have that decision to take kids away, it's the amount of pressure that's on the lawyers because they'll be speaking closely with social workers about what's the evidence, etc. And boy, if there's one area which is contentious and with a lot of litigation, it's childcare. Taking children away, it's huge. So I'm really surprised that these are the same people which managed to try to bring defamation proceedings against you so quickly.
You saw those papers as well, saying it.
Exactly, absolutely.
How good was the response from our side?
Oh, brilliant! Absolutely,
it was a masterclass. Huh?
It took a while. And the funny thing is, people don't know it was done. We can't actually say it was the masterclass of the lawyers.
You know what the situation is. You can't mention
exactly. You broke all the evidence down before the lawyers even needed to provide that response.
Exactly.
When we looked at it, we had a strategy, but you'd actually prepared a response to each of those allegations. Yeah. But like I'm saying to you, they are very much lawyered up. That they've got a lawyer that they essentially contact. So I do find it incredible that how quickly those kids have been taken. I just find that there must be some quite serious allegations. I'm not making any conclusion about what's going on, but there's sufficient concerns for a local authority to take those children away. And then there are some major, we all know, the sort of stuff that's going on. But it's clearly this guy, obviously he thinks he's the leader of it. He's presenting himself as he's
above the law, saying leader. Someone's above the law. Yeah. Right,
exactly.
He's not answerable to anyone, and they know.
And if you notice that they themselves say that we're not subject to this idiot NASA keeps talking about. We're not being tried by Roman law. What nonsense is he talking about?
It's the cult theology. It's the cult theology.
Yeah. Absolutely. So
sorry, you got a question, Hassan Bahari from NASA. I think. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, go on.
Hi, sorry. I was just listening in, and I'm basing it on what it's like in Scotland. My understanding is, in relation to social services, to be able to remove children from their parent or caregivers, social work has to have substantial evidence to then go to the court to provide the evidence to the court for a what's it called? A child protection order, And usually in Scotland they have like an 8-day working hearing, and then it usually gets kind of like dragged on further. And then there's a substantial order that's put in place in respect of like if the children have contact and how frequent they have the contact with the parent.
It's very similar in the UK, in London, sorry, the England side of things. Yeah, absolutely. That part of Scotland, it's very similar. So, I mean, I'm not expert in childcare law, but certainly I remember from my days that they apply for emergency protection order for the court. And you're right, it's for a certain period of time. That is renewed. And during that period of time, representatives, and I recall how many representatives you have. Remember, when you have these types of proceedings, you'll have obviously the social services will have their legal representation from the local authority. You'll have the child's own guardian representing their interests. You'll have, if there's two parents, you'll have a lawyer typically for each parent. And then you'll also have, believe it or not, it goes further. Anyone else with an interest, and normally I've seen it where the parents, the grandparents are also involved. It's a really, really messy process. So when you make that decision to take those kids into care, there's hell of a lot of pressure. You don't just take them without evidence. You just think, it's not you can't just pick up a kid and say, you know what, we're just going to take them in. There must be enough evidence.
You can if you're above the law. You can if you're above the law. Say
well, this Messiah keeps talking about Roman law. Well, let's see how the law of the UK is treating him right at the moment.
The Roman law.
Exactly. What nonsense are you talking about?
In Scotland, they also do a parenting assessment, which is usually between 8 to 12 weeks, to see if either the cause of concern is from the mother or the father, or if it's both sides, and to see if they have been able to identify where they may have been lacking on like the parental parts kind of type thing. Further down the line in Scotland, if there's been no progress at all from the parents, they then take it back to court, and there is usually a residency order that is put in place.
They're similar. Like I said, I didn't practice this area, but certainly from my knowledge, and I work with social services, we've got another connection with childcare lawyers as well. So I can't claim myself as an expert. What you're saying is very similar in England. So yeah, it's not unusual. I mean, this whole absolutely, you go for an interim order and then it's reviewed, and then you go for exactly. It's very similar. Parenting orders tend to normally take place. You're right, where there's a view that rather than take the kids away, they can be returned, but there's strict procedures in place over what they need to do. They need to go through certain hoops and satisfy the local authority that they've done X, Y, and Z. But like I say, I'm not an expert. I'll be wrong to say that, I know this inside out. I'm just purely basing it on kind of some of my memory that I did do that at my training. See, actually, when I qualified, I did a few months, but then I moved on. It was too depressing for me. But
Brother Hassan, I just got a very last question. Before the sale, so for example, if there is any property going to be sold, if you're going to open a petrol station or a nursery or anything else, usually the neighbors around in the neighborhood, they get a letter from the council and they invite them for their opinion, their point of view. Look, there is a potential buyer and he's going to turn this place into blah, 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 blah. But in this case, nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. Sorry, I have to just...
This is really interesting, because you're now talking about an area that I know very, very well, because my background is planning. So I'll tell you right now that what was the building previously? Can someone tell me what is?
It used to be an orphanage. It used to be an orphanage.
It was a Victorian orphanage.
Okay, and was it vacant for a long period of time? You've just told me.
Yeah, it was. I think they used it as a hospital for a short period, and then some kind of.
For how long was it vacant? No, well, how long was it vacant? You know, I'm just talking
No,
about
they asked this guy from Cheshire.
by the time the
Cheshire.
Messiah entered. What was it before that? Was it
It
vacant for
was
a certain
no.
period
So
of
he
time?
went there and he said just like the temple was built in 40 years,
Absolutely.
he will bring it back in 3 days. So that's what he did. He
Got it.
resurrected it.
But what was it before? You know what I mean? You said before that. Was it totally vacant for a certain period of time?
I'm not sure. I can't recall now.
Okay, because let me just explain to you, from a planning perspective, this is again, anybody living in Crewe should be able to look that up themselves, because if this cult moved in and whatever it was previously, if there's a change of use of a building, you need to apply for planning permission. If it's if it was an orphanage, if they're saying we're continuing to use it as an orphanage, then you wouldn't be a change of use. But if its use has been changed into something called a religious institution, which I assume that's how it's been presented,
Right.
then the whole mechanics change. There should have been an application
Oh,
for
really?
planning permission.
So
Yes,
let me,
but
let me
you
throw
need to
this
understand
spanner in
that.
the works. It was actually a listed A2 building. You know how high that is, don't you? A2.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
then
how
we're
much
talking
you
about
can't even change anything, and they've been doing every decorating work in there without getting permission. And plus, they've been living in there like a HMO. That can actually take them to court, and they can even get prison for that without putting the actual legislation across. I think somebody's
No,
talking.
well, I'll explain. I think that's slightly. The actual legal position is this: there's that living in a listed. There's nothing that prohibits you from living within a listed building, provided, like this scenario that we've got right now, the orphanage, for example. If the orphanage was a listed building, people have rights to stay there. I don't think we should jump to assume it's been used as an HMO. We don't know what that usage is, right? What we do know is that building has been used. How have they presented it? If someone from Crewe can look at the local planning authorities, you can look at the planning portal against that address. I'd be fascinating to know, did they make a planning application over its use, or have they just lied and said it's being used as an orphanage? How do we know? I mean, I doubt that, but they must. If it's been used as a religious institution, there's been a change of use.
Would the mayor know? Would the mayor know? The mayor of
You don't need to worry about the mayor. All you need to do is go to Crewe, Crewe
No, the
Council's
reason
website.
the
Go on.
reason why I'm asking is that the mayor was actually quite close to the community members, you see, and so was someone from the planning permission department as well.
Somebody who lives in there works for the council.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's part of the planning
So I'm going to
permission.
give. He's actually a planning enforcement officer who's a part of that team.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did
Do you
read something.
understand? Do you understand why there's a lot of backhanders that went in?
But
Allegedly.
they're supposed to be
Well,
making a
well-
museum in there because it was on the gate.
Yeah. But all of these things, I mean, this is quite fascinating, because one thing is, Moonshah just mentioned a good point, that with a listed building, he's right. You can't make any alterations within a listed building without making an application for listed building consent. And I'm wondering if this individual, again, purely
Sayed, I'm in the
hypothesizing.
same field as you. That's why.
Okay. Well, if somebody did make any alterations, as an offence, isn't it? It's a straight
Just
offence.
send me an email. I did this research 2 years ago, through the portal and everything. So everything's listed there, but you'll be surprised how they got it. Because another thing you got to remember, this happened in COVID. Remember, everything changed for the planning, because there wasn't people working and stuff like that. They were doing
Yeah.
everything undercover in COVID, if you remember.
Of course, yeah.
So
Things
very
might have been
quickly,
done, but
just as a side question, do you think it's possible we can maybe sign a petition to kind of have them sent to Scotland somewhere, or do you think is that possible? Or
no, you can't really have a petition to have them sent, because ultimately, I'd be more fascinated to know. I mean, first of all, life is going to become very difficult for them if individuals are charged, aren't they? Moonshah, did you said who owns the site then? You said it's a trust. What type of trust?
Trust most likely, because it's been changed. There was individuals that actually purchased this, and it looked like the money came from the UK. Because when we did
but
our
if-
own investigation, sorry, Sayed.
What appears on the land registry right now? Whose ownership is
Like,
it?
it's been a long time since I'll just open my iPad just to go check it right now.
If you could check that, reason being, because if it is a charitable trust, they could be in deep doo-doos, because again, if these allegations are true, that charitable trust will fall apart, won't it? And there's different types of charities. Is it charitable trust with, which is registered under the Companies Act? I'm wondering if they're operating as a business. There's all sorts of things. But obviously, from my perspective, I'm more
One
interested in
second,
the planning side.
Sayed Ali, do you think it's okay to discuss on you because they're going to be watching us, listening?
Yeah, I mean, as long as whatever you're saying is not anything that's going to
No, it's
incriminate
legit, but I'm
anyone.
just saying,
Yeah,
how they work,
if it's
don't
public
you?
information and whatever, yeah, it's fine, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the points I've said, there's nothing hidden there. I mean, if it's a listed building and they have been making alterations, there's an offence, isn't there? So I'd be really amazed to say, if they've got somebody on the inside, which is, I remember reading an article. There was something about someone on the inside, but to be honest, that's all rather academic now because you know what? Actually, how long ago was when did they actually move in there? What year did they move to the orphanage?
Sayed, what you need to understand, it's not like normal council there. So because I own a property in Wimslow as well, so Cheshire actually only deal with something, but the planning is actually through the town council that does it, if you know what I mean.
Fine. Yeah, who's the town council?
This is what I've managed to, find on Webhouse. They had a redevelopment plans in 2019 to turn it into 18 apartments.
Okay, 2018?
19.
Okay, and sorry, is there where did you look this up? Have you just Googled it?
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything, which department deals with it, Munshah? Which deals with planning?
Actually, the town
which
council.
is
It's
it?
not Cheshire East is looking after the whole area, but it's actually the Cheshire Town Council that looks after.
Cheshire Town Council.
Yeah.
So basically, if someone was to look at Cheshire Town Council's planning portal against Webhouse, what are the applications? Clearly, when His Highness entered, they must have made some type of application. They couldn't have just entered. There must be some history that we know. What's his actual the use under planning law? What use have they got under planning law for this building? Have they got it? Are they portraying it under education? Because orphanage is a unique kind of area. I personally, you know what? I'm just working on guesswork. My honest thinking, I think yes, it was an orphanage in the past. I've got a feeling it was vacant for a long period of time. I'm just guessing when these clowns purchased it.
So as far as the history is, they moved in 2021 to England. So this what you got on Google is out of date, Leela. Let me get the details.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have a little look around as well.
Brother Hassan, if now the residents are becoming angry, apart from a few idiots, I think they've got the right to know that 5 years down the line, this happens and you've got 58 children coming out from the basement. They've got right to be angry, but in a lawful manner. I think they should have some representation for the innocent crew resident because they didn't expect this to happen. Actually, I support that.
Yeah, I mean, but again, no, there's no opposition to legitimate protest. Everyone's got the right. There's nothing to stop any individual to do that, as long as some of the antics have been a bit stupid. To be honest, I've seen some videos. As long as objections are done properly, legitimately, there isn't an issue. But like I say, I'm more focused. I'm more interested in this side of things. What did they apply when His Highness entered? What was because I'm my general guesswork, I think it was something called a nil use. I don't think it was an orphanage for a long period of time. I think it may have been vacant. So when something is vacant for a lengthy period of time, its use it's called nil use in planning terms. So essentially you still need planning permission from nil use to then create a new use. So I would be interested in things. What is this? How have they? What's the planning use? How is it allowed to be used in planning? This site, Webhouse, whatever it is. If someone can check that, I'll be quite fascinated. Are they presenting it as an educational institution?
She did a lot of research on it, but she's here. I'll go down. I think Lola Pop
can come up because she lives there and she works in the council as well. She knows things. Lollipops.
Okay.
Hi, Lollipops.
Hi there.
Are you okay?
Hi there. So do you know what's its uses under planning law? The current site?
So obviously it was an orphanage originally. It was then converted and used as a mental health unit, and then more recently it was used as office space. So when that building was sold, it was sold as commercial premises.
Okay.
Now, I've had a little look back on Crewe Town Council, who's responsible for all the planning permission in the area. I can't see any planning application to change its usage. I've also checked to see if it was ever registered as a HMO. It wasn't registered on the HMO register. Crewe Town Council are refusing to share any information, so I have put a freedom of information request in.
Actually, I just remember now, Lola Pops is saying, right, because back 2 years ago, I did the same thing and I got a blank from them to say, you know, like when something's been held or they're holding some information. What's that term called? I forgot the term. Do you know when they hold the information, they can't release it if it's something to do with a government body or something like that?
Yeah. But this
At
isn't
the
a government
moment, they're
body.
blaming it as a cop-out as because it's an active investigation. But my
No, but
argument
that's
is
nonsense.
it's nothing to do with the
That's utter
building.
nonsense. Everyone, let me just tell you, there's a legal requirement. Any application has to be placed on the planning portal. You can't just remove something.
No.
It's. I mean, I'm telling you, as a planning lawyer, something you know, by law, applications have to be placed on the planning register for members of the public to see.
Yeah.
I find it quite incredible that if what you've just told me that the previous use was commercial premises, and now I don't know how to describe it, but if it's now being occupied as a residential institution of some shape or form, they had to make an application for planning permission.
Yeah, and that's kind of what piqued my interest. My partner is in the building trade, so obviously he puts planning applications in quite often. So he had a look and said, it's not on there. Are you sure this is via Crewe Town Council? I said, yeah, and I obviously showed him the evidence that that's how it's submitted round here. So we did go through it quite thoroughly and we couldn't find anything. But I do know it was sold as commercial premises because that was the latter usage. So like I say, Crewe Town Council at the moment are under scrutiny because allegedly there are members within the planning team that are frequenting the cult, let's say. So they are refusing to speak at the moment.
I'll tell you right now, it's quite interesting.
I found it. It's the one that I've got saved. So, I think somebody's mic's on. 1 second. I'll just put the volume down. Okay, application 2027, full application. Proposal for existing closed bordered fences for eastern boundary, removal of railings to the southern. Oh yeah, Lollipops, look about the railings we were talking about earlier on. Western boundary construction for new closed bordered fence 2 meters in height in eastern, southern and western boundaries. This application was on the 19th of July 2023. Before that's the only one. There's
I
nothing
can't find anything
listed. Yeah, it's the same one. So I think the first one's a refusal and the second one's another application. And I don't even think this is passed.
No, I didn't. It got rejected as well.
Yeah. Say the lead. Do you remember we were doing this back then and I was saying to you, I can't get anything out of it. What's going on?
Yeah, so what
it doesn't make sense. Yes, it's coming back to me now, Said Buhari. We were actually looking into this because obviously I do this sort of stuff and we couldn't even get anything on this. So that's why we're quite surprised. So are they going by the original rule of obviously the kids were in there from before as an orphanage? Have they just gone accordingly to that and then housed them in that sense? But still, for a new person to come in, I'm sure you have to change it because there must have been some sort of change of use on it because it's not running as.
We got one of the local guys, brother Topman. What's going on, bro? Topman,
I've just asked Grant about that. The building, and he said they've done it power of ownership through the council as a loophole.
Wow. By the way, this application was put through Dr. Irfan Alamgir.
Yeah, that's the one that Nasser said his kids got taken.
And then they put it through as the community or something on behalf of the community as a loophole.
Okay, this is news to me because I'm telling you right now, there's no such thing as a community loophole. You purchase a property its use was a commercial use. Okay, so if you want to then change that use, you need to make an application for planning permission. Straightforward. And the funny thing is, if this is maybe where you guys should start putting pressure to say, if we know what its current use is, and we know for a fact, if it was sold as commercial premises, whoever purchased it, they purchased it at the owner's own risk. When they purchase it, they have to, don't assume this other community rule. They are obliged to then make an application for planning permission to change that use. Okay? So this is where I'm saying to you, I find it quite incredible that a property that was commercial is no longer commercial, but you can't find any documentation on the planning register allowing them to change that use and use it as it is. There's either paperwork is being missing, the crew, whatever, town council, whatever, aren't producing showing you the correct paperwork. I find that amazing, because I'm telling you right now, for a change of use, and this is where if you can determine exactly what's happened, you can say as a local community group to say, look, this is the use. They're living clearly. How the hell can the LPA not understand this? That they're occupying that without planning permission. Its use is not allowed under planning permission. They should have been issuing a planning enforcement notice. They've got to do it. And for a change of use. We've got to check the rules actually, because it was the general principle. This is if you change the use. This is one thing. Basically, the rule changed recently, but you've got within 10 years, for local authority to essentially serve an enforcement notice for a change of use of a building without authorization. There is something different if it's being used for residential purposes. I don't know, there's some sort of 4-year rule that's coming in my mind, and I'm wondering if they've been hiding it. But it's all been very clear. They've been in the newspapers and everything. I'm finding this really suspect. And anyone who's from Crewe, you should be raising that with your local planning authority.
Hassan, shall I forward you the email that I've had back with regards to the freedom of information request I've put in?
Yeah. I mean, when you put that question, what did you ask? You have to remember, if you work in a local authority,
I've only literally.
Sorry.
Since we've had the raid, so I think they've got like 20-something days, haven't they, to respond?
Correct.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I didn't put it into Crewe Town Council because I knew what I'd get back, so I kind of went through the government planning communities and whatever part of the website and did it that way. They've acknowledged it and said they'll respond.
Yeah, they have 20 working days in which to give you a substantive response, right?
So what's the hypothetical situation? Like, what do you think possibly, allegedly, what you might think could have happened? Do you reckon someone's taken some payments?
This is really, really suspect. Like I say, because I find it incredible that building is being used. I mean, I'm only working in law, Munshaw's listening, prima facie, on the face of it, what I'm looking at right now is a building which is being occupied and being used without planning permission, okay? So, and it's a listed building. So the first thing, anyone with a brain, anyone in local authority would, particularly due to this investigation, they would be issuing a planning enforcement notice on that building, on the owners, to say, cease use. You require that the use needs to be ceased. And you know what happens when you basically, when a planning enforcement notice is served on a building, because there's two types. It's a listed building, but the use will be dealt with under the Town and Country Planning Act. So they'll say you have to cease use of this building because you're occupying it without valid planning permission. Can I give you a scenario? Can I give you a scenario, if you don't mind? My thinking is, and I'm just thinking it purely as a planning lawyer, how I would view it. If you was to serve a notice, it would be the change of use of the building without planning permission from commercial to. Now the question is, what do you guys think? Do you think it's being used as an HMO? Do you think I think it's an HMO because there's lots and lots of people. So let's assume it's from that to an HMO. Okay, so that is planning permission. The unauthorized use of a building from commercial to an HMO without planning permission. That, in my view, I think that's the offence that's taken place. I'm amazed that you can't find anything on the planning portal which tells you that they've had an application over that use. So, really, in the real world, they should be issued with a notice, and the notice will require a cessation of use. Now, what happens is then these clowns have a choice. They can either comply straight away, because normally what it is when a notice is served on you, it gives you remedial steps, and the remedial steps will normally say cease the use as you know, an HMO, and do X, Y, Z. Basically, you know what it is? The inside of that building, Moonshot did touch on it. Anything which is a listed building, trust me, you can't do anything inside. God knows what they're doing. Oh yeah, they're creating that museum and all that stuff. So they clearly are making some amendments to even listed buildings. The law of listed buildings is so severe. You know, you can't make internal amendments. That's another offence, by the way. You know, if you do make amendments to listed buildings, you get served the listed building enforcement notice. That's also a separate regime.
Grant said that you won't be able to find anything about the building because the way they've done it is like a loophole, which is difficult to find.
But what is that loophole? As a planning lawyer for almost 20 years, I don't know what this loophole is. What is this loophole that you just talked about community?
So that was something I dealt with in...
Power of something it was called, weren't it, what I said?
What's that?
The power of something, and then they've done it through, like, as a community thing.
But you still, even if you've done it as a community thing, you still have to make an application to the local planning authority to change its use.
Yeah, that's what it was done, the power of something.
Look, there's nothing that circumvents planning law. Nothing circumvents planning law. It doesn't matter if you could be a local authority has to make applications to itself. You know, sometimes a department might make, and for example, social services might want to purchase a building, expand on a building, its use. They are required to comply with planning legislation. Why would a community group not be subject to the same, you know, any type of exemption? You don't have exemptions in planning law. Unless you're the king of the queen.
He'll come in and explain to you. He knows it more, but that's what he told me briefly. He is online.
I just find that, like I said to you, I do find that a little bit unusual, simply for the fact that I don't know there's no way to circumvent planning law. You know, we're all subject to it. You make an application and it's determined. How on earth have they managed to occupy a premises? And it makes me wonder, and you guys can't find any information about that on the portal?
I found some info. Planning committee meeting 2023.
Okay.
Just bear with me. Let me just scroll down a bit.
If there's a report there, that'd be fine.
Amended description. Just bear my reading. I'm dyslexic.
Okay.
New purpose-built building with link corridor interfacing with existing main college campus. 2-story high workshop (brackets 4) and a lecture room (brackets 4). Internal render to match adjusting main campus building with pigmented blockwork to match adjusting college campus building wall.
Where's this from, by the way? Where's this taken from?
It's Crew Count. Hang on, I'll show you. I'll put it on the screen so you can have a
Just
movie.
be careful with the camera because Lulu Pop's almost had a camera going before. Sayyid Hassan Bahari, you know what? So if they give them what's it called? Eviction notice, how long have they got before they shift out? Hassan Bahari, you're on mute, by the way. Planning committee meeting 2023.
Okay, let me explain to you. Again,
So check this out. Check this out. What's this for?
Okay, can you just drag down a little bit? Can I just see the description? What's the description of the planning app? Is it a variation? What does it say, please? Can you just read out take me to the description. I just need to see the description.
Scroll down.
Got the application number.
I'll leave the proposal. Just read the description to me, please.
Trying to find it.
Say it. By the way, there's about 200-300 people living there. But by the way, just so you're aware. So you're drinking coffee?
I'm drinking green tea right now to stay up.
I'm gonna say
Nothing stronger, I assure you. I'm not a member of that cult.
Oh god, we're gonna probably need much drinks as possible at the moment.
Exactly.
I don't know why the phone's not picking up.
Do you know what you can do? If you click on the application, there'll be an officer report there because he went to planning committee. Can you have a look? What's the date of the planning committee? I'll try and look it and Google it while we're chatting. What was the date of the planning committee and what was it called?
It's called Planning Committee
Let me
meeting
just-
2023 of the 6th.
No, which council is it? What's the council called?
Cheshire.
What's the
Crewe
Town Council.
what's the council? Sorry,
Crewe.
Crewe Town Council. What's the date of planning committee? What's the date?
2023.
Date, please. I need the actual.
June 2023.
Meeting date 26th.
Give me a second. I just need to look at it. Yeah, I'm just going to look at it. Give me a sec.
Because you don't really say much.
You know what? This could have
Just a
possibly
minute.
explained why they're leaving the place. Maybe they've been given eviction notice, right? Allegedly. Thank you very much, Agent X.
Can't get eviction notice. Let me explain to you. What you can do.
That
is-
says location, South Cheshire College. That's the college on Danebank Avenue. That's not the same place.
No, then that's not what we're talking about.
That's a different place. I've just
That's
checked
South
it.
Cheshire College.
Yeah, it's a different place.
But what I'm saying to you, no, say that. Let me explain to you. It's not an eviction. What happens is when you have unauthorized use in this type of scenario,
Right.
an enforcement notice is issued. The notice will say typically not to use, to cease the use of the premises as. So essentially, you're the owner. Say I own a property, and the property itself, I've converted. I'm going to just use it as a kind of a. I'll simplify the example. I've purchased this house, right? I don't live there. What I've done, I've converted that house without the council's permission. I've turned it into an HMO. I still own the house, so I can't be evicted from my house. So what will happen is I'll be served. Yeah, I've been served with an enforcement notice, and the notice will say you can no longer use the premises for its unauthorized use. Okay, a typical enforcement notice will say you can't use it as an HMO. So yes, I still own it. I can physically still have the ownership, but I have to cease its use. Meaning, I have to ensure that anybody who lives there needs to get out. Typically, due to the rules of fairness, local authorities have to follow something called Wednesbury reasonableness, which means they've got a duty to act fairly and reasonably. So they can't order people to move immediately. What will happen is they'll say within 3 months, you've got to cease that use, right? So the way that works is I'm just purely basing it on the hundreds that I've done over the years, these types of notices. So you give them a kind of a period in which they need to comply, and if they fail to comply, then there's a criminal offence for non-compliance with the notice. But they have a 28-day period. So essentially, say if on the 1st of January I issue it, it'll be written on the notice itself, but typically by the 1st of February, basically the trigger to then comply kicks in on the 1st of February. Up until the 1st of February, I can appeal to the planning inspector to say, this notice has been served on me, but I'm appealing on, typically it's called ground A. So that ground is that permission should have been issued anyway. So essentially they can then take it to an inspector to say, yes, they've served the notice, we're challenging it, and but we want the right to live there. It satisfies the requirements of planning law, and we should be granted a planning permission. So I'm giving you this background. None of this information appears on this Crewe. We don't know.
Nothing, Sayyid. Absolutely nothing.
This is why I am amazed.
Just to clarify, Leah was right. It is on there, but it's the same thing what I picked up earlier on from Cheshire East Council. Crewe Town Council got the same application for the extension of the fences, which was withdrawn. Both applications. There's nothing else. Absolutely nothing else.
I found a bit of info.
Go on.
The last time planning permission was granted was in 2019, and that was when the previous owners had it because they were going to turn it into a old people's home, and it was going to be they got permission to build a new 3-story building to the north, which contained 36 apartments.
Right.
And they had to convert the main building itself into 18 extra care apartments with 2 guest suites.
I have it pulled up right here for you guys.
Oh, so it's previous use. So did they were they granted planning permission?
They never used it as that. The people that bought it got planning permission for it, never went through with turning it into a care home, and then sold it to these guys. But it was meant to be a care home.
Okay, and when was what's the date of that planning permission? When was that planning permission granted?
I'm not sure, but it says in 2019 planning permission was granted by Cheshire East Council.
Okay, and when did these clowns? Okay, and so basically it was permission to use that as a care home.
As a care home, yeah.
Well, clearly they're not using it as a care home.
Yeah, son, this is what I did. I put it in my OpenClaw agent for fun.
Yeah.
And this is what it came back to. Said that we found the planning permission to convert the web house into, like you said, 54
Guys,
extra.
I need one person to drop, please, just for like a couple of minutes while Brother Grant comes up, and then you can kind of explain what he's done. Can one person drop, please?
They've had planning permission for something because that's on their fence. When they
2 people dropped. You need 2
as a
people.
charity.
Just give me a second, Brother Grant's here, and whoever was on the stage earlier, you're welcome to come back up. Oh, there you go. It's done. Grant, what's going on, bro?
Retirement flat for the elderly. Fail.
Grant, can you hear me?
I can hear you. So essentially, you're chasing a loose end because it doesn't actually show who received the money for the sale. It doesn't say who sold it and who personally received the money for the eventual web house sale.
It's right here. I'll stop estate as agency.
What's publicly known and publicly supported was that Webb House was historically tied to a trust orphanage created from the estate of Francis William Webb. It later then became a British Rail training centre. By the time it was marketed, which was around 2017 to 2021, it was being sold as a private freehold property through auction development channels. And then the Ahmadiyya religion publicly stated they bought it from a private company, not from the council.
In between of that grant, it was used as a mental health facility and then turned to commercial premises. So
there's nowhere there that it says that the council ever sold it to anybody or it was the council.
So it was a loophole.
There's the loophole. So somebody, there's no public record of who owns it. So we need to know from Land Registry who had the title registry beforehand.
Here, let me type this into my agent real quick. 1 second, okay, guys?
Okay, 1 second though. You talk about loophole. So in terms of this very, very last use, we need to understand. It'd be interesting. What do the cult use is? Is it a what is it? Is it
they bought it as part of their religion, as part of their charity, or their religion, their charity status. They bought it into that religion, like it's claimed as a part of their property, a business of operation, essentially.
But look, it's belongs to
what was it?
Arapol Studios Ltd.
That's fine, but what was its previous use? Now we need to be 100% sure. What was its very, very last use before they purchased it?
Commercial.
The thing before that I can see publicly stated was British Rail Training Centre.
No, that was directly after the use of the orphanage. Then it was a mental health unit, and then it was used for commercial premises again after that.
I think this will help you. So proposed change, this is 2019. Proposed change for use for alteration of web house, 18 class C2 extra care apartments. Proposed erection to the rear 3-story block rear, compromising the 36 class C2 apartments, together with associate demolition and extension to provide well-being hub linked to 2 developments, new pavilion garden store, 2 bin mobility store together with associate landscaping and parking. Total 54 use. So that's the biggest use, Sayed. So it got changed in 2019.
That was before they moved. Don't forget that's
Before they
before
moved it, but they've used this. Can you see? Of course, the change of apartments. So there's been compromise. So it was changed before. That's why they got away with it. That's one of the things.
So it says, yeah, so the mental health had it from 1997 to 2008, and that was the NHS. And then it became vacant or a commercial redevelopment stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then it was planning permissions included specialist care accommodation, apartments, retirement living, and redevelopment proposals.
But guys, you don't understand what Sayyid Buhari is trying to say is that when you have a new use, it's a change of use. They have to still apply for planning. This is what I was ranting on about like over 2 years ago.
It's not within. You understand me? It's not with the same use class because what they on the face of it, would you not all agree that it's probably be used? Technically, it's not. It's being used. I know they're saying it's a religious institution, but it seems to present itself more like an HMO to me.
Yeah.
And even if it's a let's assume it's a religious institution. Even then, it was previously commercial. So to convert from a commercial to a religious institution, you'd still need planning permission. Do you understand?
So Said, how is the only way to avoid that? Then that's a question. Oh, Hasabari, you need to come back. You've moved away from the phone.
Sorry, I was saying to you, planning permission. They wouldn't need planning permission if they're using it within the same class use. So you have use classes, right?
Yeah.
So the last class use was commercial.
Right.
This is not a commercial premises anymore. It's being used as religious, is it not? A religious
HQ, isn't it?
Yes.
Exactly.
Hold
So
fire.
it's not a commercial building, is it?
Hold fire. So redevelopment proposals were put into place. The planning, like they could they have not? Where's the planning information again? Because I had it here. It said quite clearly that the planning information shows redevelopment proposals were the only thing. The last time it had was retirement living, and then it was redevelopment proposals. The company that sold it was Auction Estates. We need to know who they are.
Even if I'm more interested to know if we are certain that the last use was a commercial use, and they applied. There was an application for planning permission in 2019 to convert it into a care home. That permission has clearly never been implemented, has it?
No, exactly.
Because you only have 3 years to implement that planning permission. So between 2019 and 2021, was that permission implemented? No.
No.
So all we know is that there was a commercial premises that is no longer a commercial premises. It's now I don't know, religious institution.
The last clearly documented use of Webb House before it acquired appears to have been the NHS mental health or therapeutic community facility. And then following that, it was a long vacant redevelopment period with commercial planning proposals attached. Never actually used, just commercial planning.
Okay, but you just said the word vacant.
Yes.
Was it vacant? How long was it? When you say vacant, how long was it vacant for? Would you say a year, 2 years?
Oh, a long time, according to that. So
Go on.
I'm just getting the details now. Sorry, there's a lot of information in front of me, so I'm just having to go through each piece. NHS.
It's just because I can tell you guys a position.
NHS had it till 2008.
So from 2008 until 2019.
It was vacant, essentially, with planning redevelopment stages.
Okay, and someone mentioned commercial use. When did the commercial use come about, or did it never come into fruition?
It never actually got. It had commercial redevelopment proposals, but they never actually got used.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so
also LLP, right?
I can tell you the legal position as it is on planning law.
Okay.
Essentially, if something is what you do is you treat this as an abandoned use because this becomes vacant. You could have something, for example, say I've got a house, right? I want to turn it into. It's vacant for a certain period of time. My tenants move out, and someone else moves in after a year, right? They want to use it as the same use. That period where it was vacant doesn't constitute an end of that use. It's just a continuation. There's been a slight break, okay? And that time I've been doing X, Y, I've been getting the property ready, etc. But if something's been vacant for a certain period of time, that in planning law we regard that as an abandoned use. It's no longer a. So what happened is it becomes in law, in planning terms, that becomes a nil use. A nil use means zilch. There's nothing there. So when somebody moves in, guess what? You then can't automatically then use it any way you want. You from nil use, you need to then resurrect it by applying to planning permission for a use. Do you understand me? You can't just suddenly move into a nil use and then use it as a building of your choice.
What if there was care planning, care home planning?
I think.
Care home? Go on.
Yeah, no, I think I mean I get what you're saying, Hassan. Pretty much like, hey, this they bought this, even if the original applicant wasn't a ROPL, right? This group, if it was through Akram Development Management, they had intended for the use, right, for the permission to build that 54 extra care apartments, right, for the 65 plus, right, and if the council approved it, then that's what they would have to use it for. But if Akram sold it to a ROPL. After that, with that permission already in place, and then they turn that into some other miscellaneous compound, then the fault falls onto the purchaser, not the development nor the council.
Yeah, there are many people there with mental health issues, and they have lots of vehicles that are registered as
Doesn't matter though.
mobility
To be a
vehicles.
registered mental health unit, you have to be registered with CQC, and you have to go through the
CQC.
planning process through that. And you've not done that either.
Have we checked if they're registered with TQC?
Sorry?
Have we checked if they're registered with TQC?
Yeah, I have a lot of work with CQC. They're not registered, I've checked. And they shouldn't be providing any medical services within those grounds either.
I think I think too, if you were to look at it from even those two angles, they would still be misuse, no matter what.
100%.
We need somebody very rich who can afford to pay lawyers to take them down then, because they are very strong.
Just got cooked by a bunch of random people online.
Yeah. All I'm saying to you is because
Said Bahari, do you know the application that I told you about 2019 with the 54 units? It's still approved with conditions, so it's not even the full that it's been accepted. It's with the condition, and that was 2000. But there's nothing after that as well. So what?
But that's all irrelevant anyway. They've only got 3 years to implement the permission.
Exactly.
Even if it's, Anyway, if they've not done it, it's in law what you call material start. If they've not dug up the foundations, it's never been implemented. If it's not been implemented, end of the story, isn't it? They have 3 years to implement. As in, to make a material start, not to fully implement. They need to dig up the foundations. Basically, when you have a planning permission, you basically typically it's digging up the foundations. So that's your intention to start. If that's happened, then the 3-year trigger is saved.
But
So
it was
they-
in control of a development management company. I don't know if you know, what's your name, Lolo? Akram Development Management?
I've never heard of these people. Never
Okay.
heard of them. They're not a locally known name.
Clive Cuneo Clomer. Does that make
Say that again, sorry. Clive?
Cuneo Clomer?
No.
Nope. Okay.
Man of Sea.
Looking into them right now. So, Akram Development Management, been a private property development company involved with the redevelopment plans for Web House before the site. So we need to see their company's house info, really.
Oh, there's
See if we
nothing.
can
I
get all
checked already. There's nothing. There's
I'm gonna
nothing.
check it now.
There's 2 guys' name registered under it. If I recall correctly, one of them is like a European, like a European name to it, unless they've changed that as well.
Did somebody say they're doing a freedom of information request?
Yeah, it's me. Do you want me to bring up the response email again?
Well, we know that. They've got 20 days in which to provide you with a response. They've given you the original acknowledgement, 20 days to give you a substantive response. So what did you ask? Did you ask for anything planning relating to this site? What did you
Basically,
ask?
I've asked for the, like you said, the classification of usage, any previous changes, what dates they were given, Yeah. I'll share it with you. If you accept my request, I can forward you the screenshot if you like.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll do that, no problem. Well,
So I'm looking at
this
it
is
here,
interesting.
and we do have a registration of charge with court order to extend. So what's this? Particulars of charge.
As Evie's asking for a box, one person, please. Oh, there you go. Someone's dropped. Thank you very much.
Property and business court in Birmingham.
What?
Hello, Evie.
The heck?
What did he just say there?
So this was all done. It went to court, and it was the business and property court in Birmingham.
Okay.
It's flying away. Look, moving away.
None of this makes any. Irwin Mitchell solicitors. I know them very well. Geez, like.
I know them very well. I know dealings with them.
Yeah. Background. So, Developments Limited Company Incorporated, England, Wales, with a registered number and registered offices in New Chartered House, Centurion Way, Cleck, Heaton, West Yorkshire. BD 193QB.
Can you just give a quick summary to the 263 people that currently join the live? What we're discussing, a little bit of background who you are, if you don't
I'm
mind.
reading. Somebody else give it. I'm reading.
Yeah, no, Hassan Bahri, Hassan Bahri.
We're just
Just introduce yourself very quickly, as in what your speciality is or whatever.
Hi, my speciality is planning law. So basically, we're just trying to understand. Essentially, obviously, this cult which are residing at this premises, we're trying to understand what was the previous use of that premises before they moved in. If it was a different use.
Say, you're too far from your phone. You're too far from your phone.
Oh, sorry. Let me keep the phone near me. I was basically what I was saying was we're trying to ascertain what was the previous use of the premises before this cult moved in, and if it was a different use or even an abandoned use, they would need to apply for planning permission to allow the use that they're currently using it for. So under the Town and Country Planning Act, they're called use classes. Okay, so you can only occupy or you can only use it lawfully by operating within that use class. Have they applied for planning permission to use this premises within a use class? Yes or no? The problem is we can't seem to find any evidence of when. Obviously, we know that when they purchased the property, but we can't see any planning applications against this property. From that date, and it is a listed building. So, a listed building, the rules on listed buildings are very, very stringent over how you work within a listed building. Any sort of amendments, adaptations, you need to apply for something called listed building consent, LBC. That's one thing, but within itself, the most crucial part is how are they using it and how have they been given the authorization to use it? Is it lawful? If it has, have they applied for planning permission? We can't seem to find any evidence on the portal. Yeah, go on.
Is Cheshire Live Co UK a valid resource for you guys over there in the UK?
What was that? Sorry.
Cheshire-live.co.uk.
No, it'd be Cheshire East.
It'll be .gov.uk. That'll be like an official council government type.
But Cheshire East is cheshireeast.gov.uk basically.
Yeah, but the planning all goes through Crewe Town Council.
Said I did this 2 years ago. Trust me, I was going through a lot of stuff to find out, and the thing that I came out with probably was.
Well, I found something. It says that it's a grade 2 listed web house off of Victoria Avenue.
Yeah.
And we know that already.
Okay, so is cool. The 54 retirement flats. That's it, right?
Yeah, that's the one they were applied for, but not actioned in the time frame.
With a grade 2 listed building, you can't even change the lights inside of a listed building without planning permission.
Can I speak?
Oh, not technically. With a grade 2 listed building, you can do internal. You can't do external. I live in a grade 2 listed building.
Yeah, but you need, but you have to make applications for it, don't you? You have to apply for listed building consent.
Not internally, only externally. Internally, you can change the internals of a grade 2 listed building. A grade 2 listed building externally, you cannot touch without permission.
Yes, correct.
You can. Because I literally live in a grade 2 listed building.
But I thought if you make amendments to the fascia, But with some grade 2 listed buildings, aren't some parts of that building protected that you can't make some amendments within it either? I've seen
I
some
can
of that.
answer this question.
Okay, wait 1 second. Hold on. Let's see what Evie says. Go ahead, Evie.
Thank you. So it's a listed building, yes, and you cannot change the outside view, and you cannot change the colors, the windows, the doors, and even the inside
I'm
doors.
leaving this shit.
It's not allowed to change. You cannot make the room smaller or bigger. You cannot change any views.
How would you know that? Well, I mean, just as in, where did you hear this information from? I'm guessing it was a conversation within the community, right?
No, I was in the construction, and they told us, no, it's forbidden, it's forbidden, it's forbidden, it's forbidden, it's forbidden.
So how did they make the basilica then and everything?
Yeah, they go over the permission. They don't care.
So then they have breached the conditions of the regulations of the building then, Hassan Bahari.
No, they don't have agreements or that they can change anything.
Here's the actual breakdown. So you cannot make changes that affect the character or historic significance of the building without listed building consent. So that includes both inside and outside changes, not just the facade, but typical things that are usually require consent: demolition of any part of the building, extensions, structural changes, removing of original features, changing of windows and doors, altering staircases, fireplaces, changing roof materials, internal layout changes of historically important, if appropriate, adding modern cladding or signage, and installing certain external equipment.
They've done a lot.
Done all of that.
Yeah.
So can we? I'm pretty okay, right?
Not here, Grant. Yeah, we can't. Not here.
And
Here.
the basilica, they changed only the paint. That's okay. You can paint the house. That's
Yeah.
okay. You can even change upstairs the floor, because this is, and you can change outside the what is this, walls? Not the house, the walls, what's around the house and the area. This you can change it because this built it after. And the houses between the West Cottage and the South Lodge, you can change it because it's not under what's called this.
I get that. I think let's just focus one element. The fact is we can't seem to find any history of them applying for planning permission for the use of the building as it currently is. I think we can all agree on that, can't we?
Yeah, and it was before they moved in. It was an orphanage.
No,
and then it was
had-
10 years empty, 10 years completely empty. It was used for private, but this house was too big and nobody wanted to buy it or rent it or something. So 10 years it was on the market.
Yeah, it was a new use. That's what I'm saying to you. Because it was a new use, whoever then purchases it and wants to benefit from our use, they need to apply for planning permission. We don't seem to have any information as to where they got planning permission to use it as it currently is. Nothing.
I know where you got the planning permission from. Do you want to
The
know?
only thing what I know is they have the
The
religion. They
enforcement
signed it.
officer's done something. The enforcement officer's done something.
They
Say that
signed it
again.
as a religion house.
No, I'm telling
Sorry?
you where he got it from. He's God in creation, so he gets it from himself. He doesn't need planning.
Yeah.
That's where it really comes down to. He's
Said's
above
got
the
it,
law.
guys. Why are you wasting your time? Said's got the answer, bro.
That's the answer. You
No,
know?
it's for use for religion house. Like a church. It's like this.
Yeah, exactly. Which you still need planning permission for.
So
The old
right, based on the public records, there does not appear to be clear, publicly visible planning permission specifically saying Webb House may be used as a communal religious residential headquarters housing for around 150 people. But what is publicly documented is, bought before the property, the site had full planning permission and listed building consent for conversion into extra care community assisted living development. That is how they're getting away with it.
I've got
No,
it.
because once
Assisted
that,
living.
yeah, but if that's not been, if that work hasn't started,
Implemented.
those 3 years
Yeah.
have gone. So it doesn't exist. They got the planning. If they didn't, like Hassan said before, if you've not started physically making the changes for the building, inspectors to come out and check that those changes are in line with what you expect with the building and everything else in the history. Those 3 years have passed and it doesn't exist anymore. They may as well have never done it.
I'll tell you why we can prove it. I'll tell you how we can prove it, because you know what you just said, that there was a planning application in 2019. You just given that description, right? So basically, if you click on that website, it will tell you if they made an application to discharge certain planning conditions. So basically, before you implement a permission, they're called pre-commencement conditions. So you can't start your permission until you you discharge those pre-commencement conditions. They are typically about the type of materials you're going to use, X, Y, Z. Okay, so if you don't make an application for pre-commencement, that means the material start hasn't taken place. So if someone could check on the website against this application, the one that we're just talking about, this 2019, have there been in any applications? Just click on it and look at documents. And has there been in any application for a pre-commencement?
Nothing.
So if they never discharged any pre-commencement conditions,
this NIC is letting off more than they know, yeah? But have a read what they just said. The only thing they applied for was to remove the fencing, which was withdrawn. That's it, say it.
Yep.
Yeah. But you understand me? But even, if they're trying, I understand technically they might be trying to bullshit and say, oh, these are all assisted living units, so they're pursuant to the original planning permission. Got it? But we don't think that permission was ever implemented. Do you understand me?
It makes
because
sense.
there were no pre-commencement conditions. They were not discharged. So that permission is dead. Dead in the water.
Sayed, you're 100% right. That's why the windows are dark. There's always, no light going in there. They're trying to show that nobody can take a picture and look inside. So they're trying to hide the fact of what they're doing.
Yeah, but there's a problem. There's a problem, Sayed, because they've got somebody who works in the council, in the planning permission department, is probably aware of all of this.
So they are getting the information as to if there's going to be an inspection, and they get that early, and they're obviously being able to get around it.
But to be honest, you know what? I think that
registered, and it's not registered for that either. So even if those works had have been agreed and done, it's still operating illegally.
Yeah. I think the most important factor is, to be honest, the planning enforcement officer can say whatever nonsense he wants. The fact of the matter is, there's a change of use which is not authorized. So the question is, why has no enforcement action been taken? And that's the question that they needs to be asked of the planning department. And it's not satisfactory just to say, oh, the enforcement officer hasn't bothered. Clearly, the community's up in arms. So now's a chance to raise questions to the local planning authority.
How would they do that, Sayed? How would they do that? Would they
just simply make a complaint? Yeah, sign a petition to say, listen, we've done our due diligence and we can't see any evidence that this property has been occupied lawfully pursuant to planning permission, any type of planning permission.
Who's getting in trouble? Who's getting in trouble then in this whole thing?
Well, if that happens and the council, the thing is they can't evade it. If you guys all make a petition, or we need one eloquent letter which sets out the position to say, obviously, if they're trying to rely on living units, though there's no evidence that was ever implemented, and that's the first thing. So we rely on that. So our position is that it was a nil use, it was a vacant use. They needed planning permission. It's been occupied unlawfully without valid planning permission. Why are you local planning authorities not taking any action? Why is an enforcement investigation not taking place? And if it has, why have you not yet issued a planning enforcement notice for the change of use without planning permission? These are things I think as a community you would need probably one letter and just a petition supporting that letter to say we want an investigation, an explanation as to why up until now a huge building, and we're not talking about a 2-bed flat, a huge building is being occupied by a large number of people under the nose of the local planning authority who haven't bothered to know that it's been occupied without valid planning permission.
So what are the repercussions of this, and how fast can they remediate those once it's addressed to them?
Well, then the local planning authority, trust me, if you look at how highly publicized this issue is, they can't just dismiss it, can they? They can't. They'll be obliged to then look to mount an investigation.
Do you think it's worth contacting the local press as well regarding this issue or not?
3rd of June, by the way, I get the information back from the Freedom of Information.
Yeah, I think that's very important. You know, I think if she gets the freedom of information back, that will give us that element of certainty. You know why? I'd be fascinated if some of that information hasn't appeared on that planning register, because by law you have to. Any application has to be recorded on a planning register.
Yeah,
If
to
the
be honest,
feeling
I
is,
don't think anything's on there. I don't think there's anything on there.
do you think they're hiding it, or is it just the fact that they're living there?
What if there's corruption with the actual council itself then?
Well, to be honest, then heads would roll. But I genuinely think, because this is so serious, they won't be able to get away with it. They'll be obliged to issue an enforcer notice.
Exactly. A whole planning department will have to be shut down. They'll have to get new people.
They'll be in big trouble. Trust me, because
maybe
it's
between time then potentially.
under their noses. This has happened. Under
I
their
think
noses.
is there a way you can draft a letter on this and then work and send it to Grant and then because you can
I can do something. It's very simple. But one thing is, I think if the sister is just doing some looking into it, if she's doing the freedom of information, it'll be quite. Should we just not wait for that? How many days is that going to be? Has she left?
Sorry, 3rd of June.
3rd of June.
3rd of June.
Yeah, but say just do. I'll do an email to him again, and I'll just ask as I won't do it as from a legal department. I'll just do it as a general concern because I'm a part of Cheshire Council.
I've done that. I can send you the response. It's very curt. They're not going to give anything away from Crewe Town Council at the moment.
Due to the investigation.
Can you do this? Can you? So if you just create a page and say that we're concerned about the planning or we're concerned about the living conditions of web house, get absolutely loads of signatures and with like addresses of residents in that area, and that'll be excellent. And then what we'll do is, as soon as you get the FOI, we'll attach everything. We'll do a letter, proper dedicated letter from one of the law firms, and we'll send it in.
Yeah. Yes. That's the best thing. Send it from a law firm and say this is the situation, and our concern is, that there's no valid planning application in place. I mean, I know a law firm in the north, that part, but just get some law firm to just issue a letter.
So are you basically saying that the divine just state is compromised then? Essentially,
it's compromised because I know the divine just state talk about Roman law, but there's something called planning law, and they certainly on my.
No, by the rules of the land. That's what they say, right?
Exactly. They're not abiding by the rules.
We don't break the rules. That's what they say. We
Exactly.
Don't
say, Buhari, he states in the book that, at one time they're going to take over the whole world. There's going to be one passport for them and everybody else is going to be a visitor.
No, you have.
There you go.
Look, you have to understand.
Oh, no, they're a bunch of loons. But like I say to you, this is something which I would act on. I would say that we get simply we instruct a law firm to essentially set the position out. But I think we need to be 100% sure. We just look at all the. I mean, Munsha, you've done all the research. I mean,
yes, I did it 2.5 years ago. Let's let them incriminate themselves even more. Let's get the signatures, a letter out to them. See if they don't come back. We'll give them a 28-day period. If they don't come back to us, they obviously incriminate themselves, especially when a concern is going on.
But hold. Lolo's going to get a response from Freedom of Information by the 3rd of June. It's not the end of the world. Let's just wait till the 3rd of June because we can use that. Basically, we can just say that we've been approached by the community and we've been provided this detail on the thing. Yeah. This is the response we've been given. That will give us that certainty that there's no history against that site. So what we are then left with, we can deduce that there was a new use of that building, which is now an active use with that planning permission. And we want to know why the local planning authority has to date not taken any action.
They on their streams, they always say that they're a training center, on their streams.
On their, what do they say on their streams?
Training
center.
Yeah, they're live. Again, it's a training center.
It could be multiple uses. So what? You still need planning permission. You can call it whatever you want. Funny, it's funny training centre. People are living there, so it's clearly not just a training centre.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why it's funny. Like, it's like, wait, what?
And they get their feet washed, so it's not even
I think
training any
I
part.
think what the urgency is, we get all the signatures first. So Lollipop's not you. Get everybody in the community, like send a message, get all the signatures. So by the time your time, the more the merrier, basically. Even if
Yeah.
it goes into the hundreds, it doesn't matter.
Very
Every single
quickly,
person.
I'm looking
Yeah.
right now at something called a planning obligation by deed of agreement under Section 106 of the Town and Country Planning Act 1990.
I know that very well. I've written drafted thousands of them. Go on.
So I've got it said it was dated 10th of January 2020.
Okay. What does it say? What's it
and
regarding?
So it is parties, Cheshire East Borough Council, and then Arkham Development Management Limited. The council is the local planning authority for the purposes of the 1990 Act. The owner is the freehold owner of the site. The owner has submitted the application to the council. The parties have agreed to enter into this deed in order to secure the planning obligations contained in this deed, having regard to the provisions of the development plan and the planning considerations affecting
Don't
the
worry
site.
about. Could you just email it? If I give you my email, I'll leave the
Absolutely,
consultant.
yeah.
And is there a planning application number? Are we
I have everything for you. Yeah, I've got absolutely
Could you
everything.
do me a favour? I will drop. I'm sorry, I'm not very.
Now, Grant, send it to me if you want.
Yeah,
and I'll
yeah,
send
no
it across
worries.
to
Could you send it and then I need to look at it?
Yeah, no problem.
Then I'll be able to.
Done.
I'm an expert of Section 106 agreements, so
Amazing.
I'm assuming this was in support of their planning application. I just need to understand.
This
what their
is the
106
only latest application they've got. This is literally the only latest application they've got, and it was proposed change to the use and alterations, which I've also got the design that they had. I've seen the image design, all of it. The fact that it was a decision was issued. So yeah, the approved. It states approved with condition. So I'll email all the documents over to you.
Okay. So basically, you know what the description? Could you if you look at the document, just out of interest, you look at the 106 right now. What's the definition of development there, please? Just look at there's a defined term. It will say development.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I'm just looking for it now. One sec. Development. So
Yeah, what
development.
does it
So
say
it's
for-
got commercial. It's got a commencement development and then development. So development. The development of this site by the change of use and alterations of web house, including a new 3-story block to the rear to form 54 Class 2C apartments, extra care units, associated demolitions and extension to provide a well-being hub, new pavilion or garden store, and associated landscaping and
Wow.
car parking as set out in the application.
So there is an application. That's the one. That's the planning permission. What was the date? This is basically our answer. There is a planning permission. So they've called it a care. What have they called it? A care?
Development, sorry.
Extra care housing.
No, let me read it again, sorry. So it's a site use of alteration web housing, including 3-story apartments, extra care units.
Yeah, extra care housing.
So it will say somewhere what it's actually for. And I had that just now. My brain's just lost it. The owner submitted agree to enter in a deed, planning obligations deed, land regard. Deed, considering regulation 12, levies. Yeah, it's just development of
Care units. 54
care
care
units.
units.
54
Wow.
Class 2 C2 apartments, extra care units on top of what's already part of the main building.
Retirement flats, right? Retirement flats.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, so they're pitching it all as care units.
So
They're a
extra
bunch of
care
crafty
units are
buggers.
usually those that are potentially able to live independently but may need assistance at some point. So usually nurse call bell for emergencies,
Correct,
on-site
correct.
care facility, again CQC
Yes.
registrable, and they're not registered.
So yeah,
And
exactly.
this
No,
was,
so you
this
know
was
the loophole
dated
there
the
is.
10th of January 2020.
Oh,
that
that's
again?
the valid plan. They've got it. We've got a planning. That's the planning permission. So they've got planning permission to use that premises essentially as care units.
And they've also redacted
Wow.
the details of the people that signed the documentation from both sides. It's all been redacted.
Oh, you can that in law anyway. You don't need to show that's protected. It's data protection. You don't need to have signatures presented on the portal. That's not a problem. But we do now know. But you know what it was. So if you could send that to Said Ali, I just want to have a quick look at it. But to be honest, that answers our question. That's the planning permission. They're a bunch of crafty buggers, basically. They've presented this as their care units. Wow. So previously the previous care, there was a previous care use as well. Then wasn't there? There was a care use element previously.
I'll say it. I think there was.
wasn't there?
I think there was. Yeah.
And that
I
was
said
that's
it.
just
dated, signed and dated. The Cheshire Council signed and dated with permission on the 13th of January 2020.
yeah. So they've got valid permission. That, but have they? I mean, that's basically the permission that they're relying on. They've
Yeah.
obviously implemented that permission. Wow, we're talking about a huge site. So, but she's right though. Lala's right. You do need CQC permission because if you're
You
presenting it
do?
as key
Yeah.
units, have
And they
they?
should have had that in place by now. We're talking, what, 6 years later?
Exactly. You've got to register straight away. As soon as people occupy that, it needs to. Can you do one thing? Actually, you know what? Just send it to say that I'll be able to look at it very quickly. Just
Of
listen
course, no
something on the
worries.
obligation.
Said, have you got direct contact right now?
Yeah, send it to me, bro.
Send it to you right now, one sec.
Okay, bro. No problem. Let me know when you send it.
I've got the three SS, whatever they're called. It's the original Word doc version from the council plus their redacted versions, which I'm sending over to you right now. You have them. There they are. Oh, no, you don't. I have to approve it this side as well. Sorry, approval sending of it, documentation. Where's that gone? There you go, there's some bits there for you. Yep, you've got it.
So how else can we look at Arapo Studios, Ltd, over there?
That's yeah. This is their media company they use. This is where they do all their media stuff. So this is where they make their money, essentially, or they show they make their money. But yeah, CQC. They as you say, old pops. That CQC are they need to be informed because this is
They do. I
yeah.
can do that. I've got really close connections within CQC. Don't stress about that side of things. But it is registerable, and obviously in terms of the legalities of that, they're way outside of them. Because to be registered, they'd have to have a registered manager. They'd need to do again number of works on the site to make it registerable. There's a whole host of things that need to be in place before they can even take the first person into the door.
Yeah, which they do have people. They do have people in that door already, from what I
Oh,
understand.
exactly. That's what I mean. So they're operating completely outside of the legislation there anyway. And under the Health and Social Care Act, they'd come down on them like an absolute ton of bricks. Yeah. Yeah, especially under CQC, it's really, really tight. And can I just say, that's even more alarming that they reckon that they are an extra care facility and they don't have a safeguarding policy. Sorry. Wow. Why have they all not got DBS checks?
They do claim that they have safeguarding policies. They do. When I spoke to them last time in D14's live, they claimed that they do have a safeguarding policy.
Um, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, Hassan Bahari, I sent it across to you.
They're probably freaking out right now, watching it live.
scouring right through it all right now to see if where Crew Web House is listed. There's 2 other addresses, guys. Don't forget there are 2 other places that it could be where the registered manager could be.
Would be worth bringing a few criminal law barristers or solicitors into the live. You know that. What do you guys reckon?
Right.
Have to ask some jump
I
on.
can download the results actually, so I'll get the whole results and
Just
filter
kind
it
of
back.
get their perspective about
So I'm
the situation
just
in the
looking
case.
at the 106 agreement. This is really interesting. Give me a second. I'm just going to read some of the main parts, important points.
Jojo, if you want to request and come up, just request. I'll bring you up.
Are any of them live right now, by chance?
Probably not. They're probably tuned into this live and they're listening in what's going on, thinking.
Labaik Abahu.
Sadiq.
Lanat Abba Sadiq. Minna, you have to say Lanatullah Abba Sadiq.
Lana Atullah Abasari.
That's not bad, actually.
Thanks, dude.
Try in the comments, just copy it so you know how to say it next time.
I got Rosetta Stone at home, so I'm practicing.
Beautiful. Sister Evie, forgive me. I'm just going to bring you down. I'm going to swap you over for one of the guys. I'm going to swap you over again in a second. Dude, why did you request and drop after? Nuruddin, you requested and then you dropped.
Yeah. CQC, as Lol Pop said, there is not a single name for Web House. There isn't a registered manager at that property, so they are caring for people illegally. That's actually a massive...
Because they are not used to live in that box bedroom. So you need unke liye jo psychological trauma.
Jojo, where's
that is more
Jojo gone?
important.
Where's
They need to
Jojo
get
gone?
alcohol and drugs.
Can
That's
someone
how they
message?
live. So
Jojo, where
regardless
are
of it
you?
is Manhattan or if you're talking about
Sorry, Minaj, just to stop you from going on. Jojo, do you want to request? Where are you?
I can't see her in the chat.
He was here a second ago.
Where's Hassan Bukhari gone?
He's probably checking the document I sent him.
Oh, there she is. I got her. She's in.
Jojo, where are you gone?
I'm here, sorry, I was live on my backup listening. My fucking heads fell off.
Why is that?
Because this shit with the care home and...
Oh, you're listening to the whole thing? Wait, how much
I've
have you
just been
listened to? What's going
listening.
on? Oh, no, but how much have you been going on about for the last hour? We've gone into some serious detail about the whole thing.
We've now
No,
really
so
delved in, like, massively.
Caught the past 15 minutes.
Oh, no,
yeah.
this has been going for about an hour. You'll hear it in a second. Let Brother Hassan come back. Let me see where he's gone, because he's checking
Okay.
it.
So essentially, from what we can gather, they are operating off of the previous planning permission of care homes, which we knew, which is why
Sorry,
they called
Grant, will you just go back a couple of minutes? I just took a phone call and dropped off. So what did you say had happened?
So we found the documentation, which is the current active planning permission in place for care homes.
Right, okay.
We found, I've on CQC's website, I've literally downloaded all the businesses registered within care homes of Crew. And as you quite rightly state, there is not a single person in Web House. There's not a single business in Web House. And we've also got their redacted 106 form, which the chap's looking at right now, which overviews quite a lot of info.
Lovely.
Brother
So
Minaj,
if they are
forgive
driving
me.
pit vehicles and
I've
let's
dropped
just
it.
say they were CQC registered, when they apply for their mobility vehicles, they have to apply to add carers on, and it's a
Hassan
completely
Bahari, I
different
can't.
process.
Sorry, give me a second. Hassan Bahari, I can't see you requesting. Can you request, please? I cannot see your request at all. For some reason, your whole account. Can you leave and come back? Can you leave and come back? There's too many people here, like literally in the live. I can't even see his name. Well, can someone, Hassan Bahari, there you are. Okay, got you. I'll bring you up.
Welcome back.
Yeah,
Okay,
can you hear
go
me?
on.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, guys, I've just checked the 106 agreement. Very, very interesting. So these units that they were going to provide, they are for people over the age of 65. People over the age of 65, it's like full monitoring care, and it's CQC registered. They have to be CQC registered site for qualifying persons. So all of these residents under this planning permission have to be over the age of 65. I think an extra 56 units, just to let you know. So if they've not registered with the CQC, there's a major concern there. And it does worry you that you've got very, very vulnerable people over the age of 65 living there if it's fully occupied.
So they don't have people already over the age of 65 there. That's the problem.
They do or don't?
Not really.
Well, that's what the planning permission is for.
So how many over 65-year-olds got living in Webb House?
Yeah, exactly. It says it's a fully monitored 24-hour monitor care provision for persons over the age of 65.
So that's
And it
how
says
the
it's got to be registered with CQC. It says it within the legal agreement. By the way,
I know we're on live all discussing this, but on Monday we are first thing we're all going to have to ring up the CQC.
I've got connections, Joe. I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no point. Everybody.
It's not just CQC; it's the local authority. It needs a safeguarding putting in as well, alongside.
Hey, Bahari, what's the date of the application?
Pardon?
I've not looked at the application.
Okay.
Someone's just said in the comments that's why the kids haven't been returned, and that'll be why another reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the purpose of the use was a care facility for elderly people. So what the hell are kids doing there?
56 kids as well.
But it's the original piece in light, guys. You can't. He's above the law, so it's fine. He's the man.
Yeah, but Sayed Bahari,
65 plus would have mobility cars, guys. That's how they're getting them from out of the PIP money.
There's also a further legally restriction of occupation. An extra care unit shall not be occupied by other than a qualifying person and spouse or partner of such person.
Yeah.
That means they can't have these other people in there unless they are qualifying person and spouse or partner of that such person listed.
Exactly. So
you
you
guys know?
elderly people.
Oh, I'm just saying. Do you guys know if this guy was one of the people that was charged?
Oh, conveniently.
Yes.
If so, then they're cooked.
Yeah, that's one of the people.
Because look, that's who is the director of this.
Hassan Bahari. Sorry, let me just speak to Hassan Bahari.
Sayed, what's that?
So also, somebody just sent me something. They had an application for the same thing with 36 extra care apartments, but it was actually withdrawn. But this was on the 18th of February 2021.
Okay.
And that was withdrawn. There is nothing else like after that, or they've even appealed it or anything.
Okay, but then we've got this one. So basically, this is a care facility.
This is what I said to you guys. The religion side is all a front. This is all a front. But what's going on behind, like all these people, like Alexander, Sermad, Hussam, all of this is all what they're complicit.
Yeah,
They're all part of the big fraud. It's a big scam that's going on.
One second, let me switch my camera on. 1 second, so you can see it.
It's benefit fraud for the CCG, not necessarily. If people are paying privately, there's absolutely nothing to report to the CCG because they're only interested in the funding. However, even if they self-fund, they are still eligible for the safeguarding remit of social services.
Look, it's withdrawn. This application is on the 18th of February 2021. They were already, I think they were getting in there at that time. And this is the same one. Look, 36 extra care apartments. So this is so weird, Lollipops, that the Cheshire Council do not have anything, but
These councils should be going in there and completing an audit every 6 months if it's registered as a care home anyway.
We can do a massive legal case against them.
No, Sayed, it's the football pitch was for the over 60s, as someone said in the comment section.
Wheelchair football.
Brilliant.
I mean, Lollipops, you're there. If I show you this picture, how much difference is Cheshire, the Webb House now and the grounds around it?
Show me.
Different.
No, that's the same at the front. The only thing different is the football pitch.
The pitches and around the back.
I'll be
Okay,
right
so
back. Somebody messaged me if you need me to come back in. There's something else I've been asked to come to urgently. I'll be right back.
Yeah, bro. No problem.
Round the back's the same. The only thing they've added in is the park for the kids.
right, okay, and again, you need permission for that. So, Hassan Baghari, back
And
me
the
up.
fire pit.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and the fire pit and the cross and the seating at the Love Island seating area.
So anyway, they applied for this. Can you see the illustrated drawing? This was supposed to go there, but I think they got the football pitch here now, haven't they?
Yeah,
On
that's
this
where the
side.
pitch is on the front right.
Right. Okay. So
Where's the birds of paradise? What's that part?
I think it's
Hiding in
super
the
tree.
trees.
It's there. It's there. Lollipops is there. Lollipops.
Hassan,
The
are
birds
you
of
interested in the
paradise.
illegal?
The
Hassan?
birds of paradise is there. Anyway,
Is Hassan
They've got
Baghari
the big
interested in the
monument
legal
on the
team?
left-hand side of the grass as well.
oh
Jojo,
wow!
can you get me a car? Can you get
Say,
me a car?
Bahari, have you seen this? They were gonna actually make it into a proper institution like a college.
Can I what? Sorry, who was asking me?
No, me. It's
Hey,
Saeed.
can you guys hear
Have
me?
you seen
Get me a
this?
car on pit.
But also,
No, I can't give you a car on Pip, mate. I can have the full form out, but I can't get you one.
Fair enough. I'll ask these
Look
guys.
at
They
it.
Fair
seem
few
to have
going
loads.
begging
This is
after the end of
crazy what they
this.
were going for.
I can't even get my own car on Pip.
I'll ask these guys. They got loads.
Well, they're all 25 plates onwards, so that makes sense because you get your car for 3 years on Pip. So, depending on how long they've been in there, 21,
Jojo,
22, 23, 20, 21, 22, 23. So they would have got new cars from 24 and 25, yeah.
Jojo, do you like the new brides?
I do. I think they're stunning, but I'm absolutely ashamed that you haven't got fucking Nassar's real hairline on there.
Oh, Lollipops has got that one.
Sorry,
Hey,
Sister Stevie, you want to go ahead? Do you want to say something? Sister Stevie, you there?
yeah, I
Yeah, go
wanted
ahead.
to say that the garden actually is not for the kids. Even they was not allowed to go alone in the garden. It's a secret garden. It's only for grown-ups. And also
Where?
they make there are fishes inside, big fishes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this was also not allowed to make their what is called this pool there,
Prawners?
pool for fishes. I don't know in English.
Pond.
Pond.
It
Yeah,
means a
pond.
pond.
A pool for fishes. I'm sorry, that's fucking brilliant.
Come on, but you understood what I mean.
I got it straight away. I knew what you were getting at. They have
I
piranhas.
was digging into the Arapa Studios, and they have 3 officers and 1 resignation on there. And one of the officers listed on there is Ali Muhammad. And I don't know, is Hassan Bakar here? Or he left?
Hassan.
No, Hassan. No, no.
one.
He was the guy on the
Okay.
stage. The brother.
Anyways, this is what I found. I thought it was interesting. Silk Route Legal.
Yeah.
You guys know about that already?
Yeah, it's a location. a place
Yeah,
up
we
around
were
there.
seeing that, dude.
So I'm just curious if that's their correspondence for their registered agent. It's not illegal for
Sorry,
them.
guys, 1 second. Just ask Hassan. Say, have you seen anything in addition to what you just looked
Something
at?
that's funny, I've just checked the 106 agreement. So under the 106 agreement, obviously one is the over 65s. They also have to provide this open space area. And under that will be dealt with by a management company who will oversee the management, and they'll have to, you'll have to pay them a service charge for managing it. I wonder if that management company is them themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if
definitely.
I would not be surprised if the obviously
It's a front. It's a
because
front.
under the 106 agreement they can get a management company to oversee the construction of the open spaces management. It's quite common. I mean, I do hundreds of these over the years. A management company is appointed to, because Joe Bloggs doesn't know how to do it. They'll be dealing with.
No, you need to come back. Say you gonna come with us.
I was saying I would not be surprised if that's owned by them.
That's their own company as well.
I bet you it's their own company. They're paying themselves some sort of service charge because under the 106 things, they'll be paying a management company a service charge to manage the open space. I bet you, Abdullah
Say
Hashim.
I'm sorry to say, but forgive my French. They're fucked. Say they're totally.
Yeah,
done.
absolutely. This is
They're
a huge.
done.
Said Ali, I don't know, but can we get Samil here? The people that own that business, the management, one person's called David Michael Lee,
Yeah,
and the second person called Paul Richard.
Yeah.
They have got people of these members.
God.
Are you sure? They've got
Who's speaking?
It's a ghost of crew.
Okay.
This is going to be a daft question, but you know what they're doing with all these elderly? Is that also classed as trafficking?
There is no elderly people there.
Well, because they're registered as a charity, you can operate care under a charitable status, but
You can,
everything
yeah.
that is made has to be reinvested back into that care facility.
Like Guinness Care.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Belong, they do the same
Yeah.
kind of thing. They're a charitable base.
Yeah.
This sounds like, I think there's some major fraud going on here. Major.
I said that 2 years ago.
So, do you think this is what partially the police could be looking into at the moment?
Yeah, I do. Now you've said all this because of all the paperwork that will pulled out of there.
That's part
This
of it.
this
I
is
think
too
it's
hidden
part of
away. I don't think this is a part of that, Said. No way. They wouldn't allow them to go back like that. Impossible.
You're right. You're right. But then where are they going to put them? With the doves above the prison cell? Is that what they're going to send them?
true.
With the doves?
And did you see the elderly people going into that end house?
No.
So today and yesterday, there was a proper elderly person, and they went. So you know the house that's at the end of the gate on the left side.
Yeah.
There was an elderly person. He went in there. They've been going in and out of there all day.
Really?
Yeah.
Because she's living there.
Okay.
Very elderly. I'll get you the videos and I'll send them you over tonight. Bob, can
Yeah,
you
no
send
problem.
the videos to my main account, please, if you can find them?
Jojo, that's a big deal. That might be Ahmad Al Hassan.
Can I see that as well, please, Joe?
In fact, wait there. Let me get me on the phone and I'll see if I can find it now.
That's a classic, is that?
That might be Ahmed
I've
Al
just been
Hassan.
tagged in it not long ago. Wait there, who had the video? I think it was Scooter. Let me mute and find it on my other phone.
Was this a woman?
No, it could be Ahmed Al Hassan, as Midnight said, because apparently he's with them. So maybe they got the elderly man jumping up around in the orphanage is him. Who knows? This is really bad.
Bet they've not got liability insurance.
Is that for sure?
I said, I bet they haven't.
Yeah, they probably haven't. Well, why would they? They got a guy who
check
can
that
make
very
them.
easy.
He can make
I
the
don't
mood
know.
disappear. Why?
Check it,
why-
because
I've got it.
that's-
Put me in
that's
big
quite high.
box. I've got it. Put me in big box. Flip.
Why do they need liability insurance when the guy can make the moon disappear?
Right,
what I mean?
watch this now.
What
Watch
liability?
this. He showed me this tonight.
Okay,
He was there.
I'm waiting for a Bigfoot to pop out.
Yeah, look.
Oh, wow.
Lebeg, I can't say it.
Lanatullah Basadik.
Wait, show me again.
Eve, who's that?
This
Is that Lila? Lila, whatever her name
No, this is Waka.
Is that
is. Is that him?
Yeah.
Yeah, watch. They are. It's coming now.
Show me again.
Yeah, so this
That was
is
a black
Akbar.
fella.
No,
Yeah,
it's
go
a
back.
lady in front of them, I think, with grey
There's
hair.
it's the look.
Yeah,
Dreadlocks is helping her in.
This is
him in.
Waka and this is Shana.
Hassan Bahari, do you want to request again? Because you've kind of dropped out.
Shana is his wife.
Sean is his wife.
This woman.
Yeah, Shana Fakir is his wife.
But he's dead old, isn't he?
He's older, yes.
That was today in the daytime. That was 7 hours ago.
Yeah, his mom is living in this house.
That's 75, one of the cars, PIP cars.
I wonder if Motability know that they are allowing what they perceive as care staff to drive without that being declared on the insurance as
I
well.
don't think so,
No,
Lola Pops. Don't
Definitely
give
he's
him
not.
allowed to
ideas.
drive.
Definitely not.
Don't give him
Apparently, you
ideas.
can declare that straight
Wow.
away as well.
Yeah.
He's allowed to drive.
They are allowed to drive, but it has to be declared and they have to submit the driving license.
License and insurance. We did think it was unused. And we also had that creeper going in as well the night before. So there was a man the night before and he was bent over, and I'll literally say it was like he had it was a smackhead and he had bits shoved up his arse.
What the hell?
Walking from the main building all the way down the path to that empty building, and Alexandra said it was a man with mental health issues.
Of course it was. Then
Yeah.
why they got the Mahdi with them? Why shouldn't there be any mental people there?
Well, exactly. We don't know who he was.
Clearly, he doesn't do a good job curing them, does he?
Nope.
And in case anyone's asking, that middle foot is NASA's because it's a bit shorter than the rest.
Oh, I forgot to say this was his second wife. He have two wives.
Oh, that 70-year-old gentleman.
The worker, yeah. He have two wives.
Oh wow.
He had
He's a busy
even more.
man. So how does it work? The more money you have, the more wives you have in the orphanage?
No. He is really he is a good man. They
Brother
choose
Manaj,
him.
just sorry, give me a second. Forgive me, I'm gonna drop you. I just brought you up to bring Grant up. And Grant and Hassan Bahari, do you want to request Sayed? And I can bring you up. And sorry, I need to drop Sister Pink. Forgive me, I'm just gonna drop you for a second in case you're sleeping because you've not responded. So do you want to come back in and out of the live, Hassan Bahari? Oh, you requesting.
Hello.
Hi Grant, 1 second. Hassan Bahari, your request.
Something, you know the 106 agreement. Can somebody find who's basic crew find out the details of the Section 106 officer in who deals with planning agreements? The name will be the
No.
Section 106 officer.
I'll find out now.
And what you can do is, can you send that officer an email, make reference to the planning agreement, the Section 106 agreement dated, I'll give you the details. I mean, so you shared it. And all you need to do is ask them, can you confirm that
Oh
the
my
developer...
God. Do not tell me that Section 106 officer is the man that is on the council that is in there. That is from them lot. The planning man.
Is there one? I don't know who.
Yeah. Wait there. What's his fucking name? Grant. What's his name? The other Grant, if you're in here.
Check the Guru Mag. Check the Guru Mag articles on there.
I'm just looking for it now.
Fakir. Is that his name? Fakir?
Check
him.
Zafar Fakir.
Yeah, he's working there.
There. Zafir Fakar, and he works in the council.
Zafar the fucker.
In the planning department.
Planning
He's
enforcement
on now?
officer. He's a planning
Fucking hell.
enforcement officer. Sayed, I told you I did all this research and I forgot about it. I did
What
this over
the
two and
fuck?
I was thinking you know all of this.
But hold on. Can someone, sorry, leave that for a second before I forget. If someone can find out the name of the Section 106 officer in the council,
They do
and
not.
then send it.
They do not publicly list a named individual, so you're going to have to ask for an
It doesn't
FIO.
matter. So you could just contact. Every planning department only has the Section 106 team. If you can find out the Section 106 team and ask them that, just attach the planning agreement and say, can you confirm, has the developer fully complied? Can someone note this down? Has the developer fully complied with the their planning obligations?
Nice one, Grant. I've got someone that's got family in the council who can find this out for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sorry, before I lose my flow, can someone just note this down, please? Yeah. Can someone just ask, has the developer fully complied with their planning obligations in the 106 agreement as set out in Part 1 and Part 2 of the first schedule?
Right.
Basically, I'll tell you why. That talks about a duty to notify the council when the first qualifying person, the first elderly person moves in. And basically after a certain period, they have to pay a health contribution. So that way we know that if we know those obligations have been fully met, then we can make a determination that that property is currently, as per the permission, is being occupied pursuant to the 106 agreement as a care facility for elderly. Do you understand
Right.
me?
Yeah,
It could
I'm
be
with you.
they might give us some bollocks to say, oh well, guess what? This element hasn't been satisfied yet. No elderly people are there. Get it in writing from them to confirm that the developer has fully complied with their planning obligations. There's nothing data
So-
protection here.
So you're
It's
saying,
an
has the
innocent
planning
question.
developer fully complied as per Part 1 and Part 2 of the schedule?
Yeah, of the first schedule of this 106 agreement. So basically, part 1 talks about they need to notify when the first elderly person moves in, because if you look at the details, it's very, very detailed. It's people who can't bathe themselves, can't look after themselves. It talks about these are very,
Say,
very.
there's bollocks. That's all bollocks. It can't be true. Abdullah Hashim is
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I know that, absolutely. But I mean, what I'm saying to you right now is maybe that these bullshitters are pretending that they're all carers. Do you understand me? They might be presenting themselves as. Think about it. This is probably why they're all living there, saying, "Oh, guess what? This is for vulnerable people, and we are all the carers of these vulnerable people." Think about it. How the hell are they all living there? They're probably. Guess what? The irony of ironies, there's nothing within the 106 agreement that allows a carer to live on site. There's nothing there. But what they'll say is because you need 24-hour provision.
There is something in there that states that. So I think I mentioned it to you earlier. It says that.
Did you?
Let me read it to you. I found it last time, didn't I? So it says, an extra care unit shall not be occupied other than by a qualifying person and a spouse or partner of such a person. The qualifying person will be the carer.
You'll have to mind my dog. She's dreaming.
Yeah, this was another theory. Is it possible there could be?
Hey guys, a qualifying person is a person over the age of 65. It doesn't mean a carer. So a carer can't technically be staying at that residence. So what these bullshitters are probably saying, I reckon, they're saying we've got all these young people there, which are all carers. You understand me? 24 hour, we've got care for these elderly. I think that's how they've got them staying there.
So they also, as part of the agreement, there needs to be health assessments, personal care, annual reviews, care provision, and links to a care quality commission registered care agency.
Correct. I'm wondering if they've done any of that. I doubt it. I doubt it because, as Lola just said earlier, she hasn't got any information that they're CQC registered. And that's the only place that they can be registered. So these are all flags which you're wondering, how the hell did this happen? The council was supposed to have known this because the 106 agreement says that they're supposed to provide a notification. But what I'm saying to you is it's all starting to stink, isn't it? You can see what they've done. There's a planning permission. They've entered into a 106 that this will be used as a care facility for the elderly. And I said earlier, and you guys all are saying you haven't seen many elderly people there.
No, not really.
So that's why I keep telling you, let's just try and find out, have the obligations in part 1 and part 2 of the first schedule been fully complied with?
According to the planning application, the reference number, the officer that was in charge of that was a guy called Richard Taylor.
Okay.
And that was part of Southern Planning Committee.
Okay. So I went to planning committee. That's interesting. Actually, I'll just check the planning. I'll come back to you in a second. I just need to check the planning committee, okay? I'll come back to you in a second.
All good. Can anybody else, I've got so much I'm doing, Clive Cuneo, I'll write this in, research this person. This is a limited business.
I've already searched them.
Tell me more about them.
Let me bring the page back up. Limited, yeah.
Yeah, the limited one. It's weird how they call it Agent Mr. Clive Cuneo Coleman Limited.
So, Warsaw Council Planning and Building Control. Yeah, that's the one.
He is named on that planning decision document.
Yeah, it's a planning basically. What do you call them?
They publicly stated they worked with Cheshire East Council over roughly 18 months to secure approval for the Webb House development. And that is publicly on their website. I'll send that to you now, Saeed, to send to your...
Yeah, no problem.
There.
Send it to us. Guys, sorry, I've kept that spot open for Brother Hassan to come back because he's just checking something. And then I'll start bringing people back up again.
Guys, I'll check my messages in just a sec. Sorry, there's a lot of stuff coming in. I've got hundreds of messages again. It's hard to keep track of everything that's going on. If I'm in a thought or train process, it's easier that I don't get diverted. Otherwise, I forget what it is I'm looking at. So I will look in just a second. I've sent that to you, Saeed. Now you've got that. I'll go and check the messages now.
Guys, press the heart button, by the way, if you don't mind, at the top, because it's gone past 12.
Yeah, do it again and do a share and a repost, please, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to download this live as well, and get obviously the
Who was
names.
it that messaged me? For the person that messaged me, do we know who it was that was saying they'd messaged me? Because I've had lots of things, and a couple of people have sent the wrong info and gone, yeah, I've got your message here. So we're talking about Alex, are we?
Oh, hold on, someone's...
Can you send me the name of the company that you're talking about to the person that messaged me? Because I need to actually check it myself. Send it to me in message, because I'll never catch it on the chat because it goes too fast sometimes.
This gets even more interesting, isn't it?
Don't send me photos and stuff like that because I'm using a PC. I can't see images. You need to send me the wording.
Hold on, guys. Where's Brother Hassan gone?
Grant, thank you for that info. The Grant, obviously, I'm not thanking myself.
I wonder if the police are currently looking into this stuff. I doubt it.
So, if this person definitely is, it would have been viewed. Is your solicitor guy there?
Yeah, I'm gonna miss. Give me 1 second, but let me find out where he's gone.
He's coming back. He's coming back.
He's in the chat.
Yeah, he's in chat. He's checking something.
Jojo, has there been a lot of movement, cars going in and out of Webhouse last few days?
Well, especially in the last hour, I'm guessing as well. It's live.
I've just checked the officer report that went to the planning committee. You know, obviously, before it goes to committee, you have the officer report. So the interesting part, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when you're gone again. I think he's gone to check his name.
Yeah, I've just got. Sorry, I just wanted to check the officer report. So the officer report says that this was the first application. It's been vacant for years. So this was the only valid application. Is this one, by the way? It went to planning committee, and it talks about a previous vacant use, and now the application is for a care facility for elderly people. So the legitimate use of the building that you are, where His Royal Highness is living at the moment, is actually
Royal Highness.
Is a care facility for the elderly, as pursuant to the planning permission. And the only people that can live there are the elderly qualified people and their spouses. Nobody else can live there. There's no permission there, which talks, because I've done 106 agreements. So when a carer was allowed to live there, it would be saying that they can live there. It's not hot. It's got, they've done very craftily, they've talked about 24-hour monitoring. So what they're going to say is all these people that live there, they don't live there permanently. They just come and go and they look after the elderly people. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, where's all the, yeah, so what about these kids saying they've got a living
I was
there?
going to say, what about the kids?
This is what I'm saying to you. It doesn't make any sense. What are they all doing living there? What are the kids looking after the elderly, or do the elderly have children as well while they're living there?
Can someone ask Alexander, since you seem to be a major advocate of this group? She sits there cheerleading.
Lollipops in the council, child service, everybody need to send them an email, please. Say to them, you need to go in there, get everybody out.
I have proof where Zafar, his full name is Zafar Iqbal Fakir, who has said, "My name is Zafar Iqbal Fakir. I am the Senior Planning Officer Enforcement in the Planning Enforcement Team of the Development Management Section of the Cheshire East Borough Council." He is the person who would have overlooked things if they come in.
Say it, I told you that 2 years ago.
I have that document in front of me where he talks about who he is. He talks about his qualifications. Talks about his Masters of Town and Regional Planning, 14 years of experience. He talks about during his career, he was also employed by Leicester City Council, Bradford Metropolitan District Council. This man is part of their religion, and it has been known that he is part of their religion.
So, I mean, that's something which can be dealt with in a separate way. But right now, clearly that property isn't being, that's why I'm saying it's so important if someone could just get them to confirm. First of all, it's not being used pursuant to the planning permission. Planning permission is for this reason. And if we could just get this confirmed, whether they've complied with the obligations of the planning agreement. If the answer is yes, then we want to know, well, where are these elderly people? Because they're supposed to basically, under the 106 agreement, the first elderly person that moves in, they're supposed to notify the council. So have the council been provided with evidence that elderly people are living there? And when they're halfway there, they're supposed to give a contribution, a financial contribution, a health one. So if they fully complied, then on the face of it, we should have a building, Web House, which is being occupied by elderly people.
Also, under the rules section of housing is that they have to have their own bedroom, living room, bathroom, etc. They're all like individual little flats that are all linked together by telecom systems.
It says that within the 106.
That's not in place in that building, is it?
That isn't. If Grant, you've got a copy of that layout photo, haven't you, of what it's out, what it looks like now, where the dorms are on the left and right side.
I haven't got that. I don't know. It's somebody else. I've not ever been sent it. So if somebody has got it, send it to me, and then I can. Yeah.
Has anyone got that photo that Mr. Manchester had? It's the layout of it. Can someone send it to my main account, JoJoJoanna_2? Laura, send it me on my main account, please.
Hurry.
Laura.Mealing. I'll follow you back now.
So are you saying the divine just state is basically an old people's home, or it should be an old people's home?
Yeah, it should be an old people's home as per the planning permission.
And
One of the law, Abdullah.
Yeah, that's confirmed. It should be about old people's home. That's what the planning permission is for.
by the way, they got bunk beds and all sorts, and they're saying Hassan
Wow.
they have bunk beds and everything.
There's no elderly people there, so that's the problem for them. The permission was for a care home for care facility for the elderly.
Could they not argue the position that they look old, but they're reincarnated souls and they're young souls?
Yeah, who knows? Some bullshit might come with.
Do you know what I mean? Let's be real, right?
Transmigrated souls.
These are migrated souls, transmigrated souls, and they're actually young souls.
But this is quite serious. I mean, even if this arsehole in the enforcement department is there,
these guys, this is a joke.
screwed.
This is beyond a joke.
Yeah,
actually beyond a joke.
this is beyond a joke. I mean, obviously they're all just paying. It's all a big ruse, isn't it, for money? It's all bullshit. Even I'm telling you, there's an open space which has to be managed by a management company.
No, but say Joseph was falsely accused, though. That's all that matters, right? Joseph was falsely accused. He was.
That's what they keep saying.
And the allegation was not true.
Right, there's one founding factor here. So lots of people have said that Zafar is part of this religion, but there is nothing publicly claiming that is evidential. There is just public allegation. So we need somebody who knows that to actually be a fact. Is Sister Evie? Is it Evie?
It's in the box.
Hi, can you confirm, is Zafar Fakir part of the religion?
Yes.
Yeah.
He is. Thank you very much. That's what, yeah, right. So there we go. He is the senior planning manager of Cheshire East. So he would have been the person that would have been supposedly to overlook that afterwards if needed, which means that's a conflict of interest straight away anyway.
I'll play that.
No. Can I just correct you one point? Sorry, guys. No, it wouldn't be him. Basically, the Section 106. If you look at the 106 agreement, compliance element, basically notification doesn't go to enforcement. Enforcement goes when there's an allegation that the planning hasn't been, applied properly. What we need to know first is, like I said to you, are Part 1 and Part 2 of Schedule 1 complied with? That wouldn't go to Fakir.
Thank you.
That wouldn't go to Fakir. That would be dealt with internally by the planning department, the planning officer. So we need to know whether Section 106 officer or the planning officer can confirm that Part 1 and Part 2 of Schedule 1 have been fully complied with.
So just
if
to
they have,
go on, Hassan. Sorry.
So if they have, then we're looking at a building which, on the face of it, has a permission which has been implemented, which should house elderly people, 24-hour care, like monitoring. And that's it. That's what house is that. It isn't a building where this individual is propagating his religion. That's not what the planning permission is for.
So
all we need, go on.
You want me to do a recap for everybody real quick?
Yeah.
So according to what we have been looking through, we found out that Arapo Studios Ltd, they bought a $2 million property, right? €2 million property through standard commercial sale, right? And then the property had a planning permission for a 54 senior care unit retirement flat, right?
Yep.
And Arapo is now using it more as or allegedly using it as a religious compound, right? With people, I don't know, estimated about 40, 50, 100 plus, including children.
Correct that. So divine just state. It's a divine just state.
Divine just state. So that's a planning violation and not necessarily a real estate fraud, but a planning violation. So what we see here truly, or the question that we are asking is, how does this group that we believe to be a cult buy this property through the UK's biggest property auctioneer and then violate that planning permission? Right? So we believe that they possibly, well, I'll say on behalf of me, it looks like they just kind of walked through the front door and paid cash, and the system didn't really do anything about it.
Exactly. Lollipops, is there an out of reach for like social services? Because we can get the kids taken out straight away. Is that like an emergency?
Yeah, there's an out of hours. Yeah, I can get that for you now if you want.
Please remember that is also the children that we've got to think about them, like that they're being taken away from things again. Whilst we need to do something, please, guys, if that's going on, just be respectful around the property area, because that is going to be so heartbreaking for the kids and the people that are their parents, because again, they don't know that this religion and this business, that they're not doing this properly. So this is quite, yeah, just be respectful if it does happen.
Thank you, because a lot of people are innocent in this group, and also the kids all of them are innocent.
Can they not argue that those men in black
Yeah,
clothes
that's
and
not safe
beanie
for the
hats?
kids.
Say, can they not argue that those men in black clothes and beanie hats are carers?
Need to show evidential proof, and they'd need to be able to give you who their registered manager is on CQC as named registered manager. That needs to be there. There is nothing there, so they fall foul straight away.
So it's not going to work that these men
They need a
parading.
responsible individual who would have had to have passed an examination. They need a registered manager. They need a whole host of policies and procedures that have also been verified by CQC. Care plans, safeguarding, full recruitment checks, you name it. In terms of the law, there's so many things that is wrong with this. It's unreal.
Literally, I'm a carer, the same as, well, by trade, a carer, the same as Lola, and the amount of training we have to go through just to even, before you even can go out and do shadowing, like, it's a paper trail, the goose.
There's no CQC registered number or even their rating. They're supposed to have a rating. So the fact they don't have a business
Get a rating if they've been inspected, though. So if there's anything that's showing on there as a new business, then they wouldn't have a rating because it takes up to 3 years for them to come out.
Yeah, this is dangerous right now because they are.
Can you just big box
Are you saying, Grant, that there is business registered with CQC?
There's no business register. I cannot find it anywhere.
No, I couldn't find anything. Sorry, I thought you were saying that somebody had found one. No, and even the insurance element, that's huge.
Can you put me on Big Box in, please?
Oh, I'll do it, guys. I'll do it.
So look, you've got at the top Europe satellite, Middle East satellite, control room, video editing, Dr. Ifran, and someone else. Can't say that name, sorry.
Dr. Irfan Amina.
Yeah. Girls' dormitory.
Yeah.
Mostafa and Alia. Kindergarten. Honor, head of security. Security office. Abdul Hashim. Joseph McGowan. Yahya and Hadil.
That's right.
Legal office. Abdullah's office. Hamid Reza and Rawada.
Yep.
Timur and Tiffany. Boys' dormitory.
Yeah.
Ali Mohammed. Basilica.
Yeah.
Mohammed and Feeder.
Yeah.
Classroom. Gym.
Where's the old people's home?
Exactly.
They have only 2 old people.
There you go. For anyone who wants to screenshot that, screenshot it.
Yeah. What about the feet washing room?
Well, yeah.
It's part of the hidden mysteries.
I do know for a fact that their security guards have applied for the SI badges because of this new member, so they can't even be there as carers. So they're screwed in that way as well, Sayed.
And also, there's no public funding going into care packages because they can't pay out from CCGs for publicly funded packages without doing all the due diligence.
It was
But the biggest thing, guys, they register as a charity. They will get funding from the government as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, some of them.
So they have to apply for like grants and systems and stuff, and then they get that money? Is that what you're saying?
When you register as a charity in the UK, I only know this because I did one for the Wakefield Imam Barga. Anyway, when they register and they have this option that they get help from the government. So when somebody's paying in, then they get help from the government.
Well, shit.
This is fraud, bro.
Sorry, Sister Evie. Assalamu alaikum. I moved you down for a second. So is it possible to invite people under like for work visa for carer or not? Does that work that way?
No, they couldn't do it because again, to do that, you'd have to be registered with CQC, but
Business.
also they're registered with the council at the same time. So let's just say, for the example, that building was registered, and suddenly they closed down because they couldn't pay people's bills, wages. They have to go back into the council register to be redeployed elsewhere. So the council would be aware, including the social services team, who would then be going in and doing a PAMS assessment. To get a PAMS assessment, you need to be registered with CQC, and they're not.
Okay. Could the police potentially look into this and consider this to be a criminal investigation case or not?
Yeah, 100%. There's multiple different laws here that are being broken.
They screwed them.
Yeah.
So
I think one solicitor and puts all these allegations and then does it, then the police will go in. Otherwise, if it's different places, it's not going to happen. And signatures from this place, I'll say the Bukhari said, and then go around that way, let the planning guys incriminate themselves. That's more evidence with that, and then take it like that, and honestly, we'll bum them.
I'm sorry, I have obviously just joined late. Can someone recap on what's actually happened?
Yeah,
essentially, the thing that we think we've discovered, there are potential issues around breach of planning conditions, material change of use, so there's permission to prove that they're not following, listed building issues, HMO and licensing issues, care regulation issues. These are there's the 5 things that we think they are not following properly. So care regulation issues around the agreement, the S106 agreement, over 65s residents, care assessments, care support, and links to regulated care provision. We haven't seen any of that. The HMO and licensing issues, they have no HMO licensing. We know they might have fire safety in there, but are they following the Housing Act and the fire safety orders? Listed building issues, they are not following the rules of the listed building. Material change of use, they are not following the correct usage of their planning permission, so they're using it differently, so that's a material change of use, and they're also breaching they're in breach of the planning conditions. So if the building is being occupied by younger adults, families, or children, that could potentially be a breach of the 106 obligations straight off the bat.
Just to confirm,
not potentially, just to correction, it would be a breach, not even potentially, because it's clearly this building can only be occupied is for qualifying persons 65 and over. So anyone that's staying there who's not 65 and over and not with a spouse, unless these guys are marrying 65-year-old people to young 20-year-old women. You understand me?
Can they not get worse?
So to clarify that, there's no way around that. See, there's no way around that. Exactly.
The 106 is very clear. The 106 is clear. I read it very carefully. It's an obligation. There's no. Obviously you could. One way you could apply to vary that 106 agreement, but I mean, there's nothing. I've just looked at the portal. There's been no application to vary it. So what we see is what we get.
Say just very quickly, if you don't mind. I know Brother Grant's recapped it, but essentially what's happened with this building. So this group have essentially come in from Germany, right? Let's step a bit further. What's gone on from there? Oh, sorry. Sorry, okay, so they've come from Germany. They've come now to the UK.
They've come from Germany. How they've got there? Let's assume they've purchased this building. How they have, but the previous use was vacant, so a lot of that history is irrelevant. What they did is they've made an application to convert the property into a care facility for persons of 65 years and over. The only people that can live there, basically, and these are very, very ill and vulnerable people. It talks about people that need changing, bathing. It's got quite a lot of detail within the defined terms within the 106. Elderly, vulnerable individuals.
Can I just ask you, while you're on that point, does it say how that building is to be registered? Is it just personal care or treatment, disease and disorder?
No, it just talks about personal care.
Okay.
It's about personal care. It says vulnerable. It talks about the bathing. Basically, those who are. You can see from the descriptor in the defined term.
So how can you find this descriptor?
It's in the 106 agreement. I've just looked at it. The one that Gavin shared.
And
so anyway, let me explain. Okay, so essentially, that was what the one. So basically, the matter went to planning committee. Planning committee granted planning permission on the proviso they enter into this legal agreement. The legal agreement says this shall be a 56 whatever care unit for qualifying persons, elderly people who are very vulnerable, and essentially the only people that can reside there are those elderly people or their spouses. So no one else can reside there. I mean, you can have people who are carers, but let me explain it to you. They legally they can't remain there. They can't sleep there as a dorm. They have to. It's almost like they have to come and go. A carer can't stay there 24/7. Do you understand me? There'll be like a provision where they'll be coming and going. As in a shift. There's nothing within the 106 agreement says a carer shall live on site permanently with those elderly people. So the assumption is those carers will be going as a shift, 7 or 10 hours, however it's done. I mean, I don't know. All I'm saying to you that building, the purpose of use is a care facility for the elderly. And what we see clearly from these videos and from obviously Abdullah Hashim, etc., they're occupying it. They're not elderly, are they? Like you said, reincarnation has kicked in. They're not elderly people. So it's all bullshit, isn't it? They're not complying with the 106.
Hypothetical question. The gentleman that approved the planning has seen it all and gone to his senior planning manager and said, I'm a bit confused by this. Can you just help me understand whether or not why this is like this? Because everything looks wrong to me. Senior planning manager goes, oh no, I've overlooked all of this. Don't worry, just approve it. Would that be something that could happen?
I find it very difficult. I'll tell you why. I mean, I've been in this game for a long, long time. So what happens is, that's why I asked, do you remember when I asked the question, can someone ask if parts 1 and 2 have been complied with? Because part 1 has got 3 triggers. They need to notify prior to commencement. They need to notify first occupation. And there's another trigger, I think 50% occupation. Those triggers are not dealt with by one planning officer. They're dealt with by the Section 106 officer who's separate from the planning officer. So basically they need to provide evidence of these 3 triggers have been met. And then they sign it off. Okay. So it's not not that straightforward.
Senior planning manager turns around to the 106 officer and says, don't worry, I've done all of the requirements in Section 106, so you can just approve it.
I mean, technically, yes, it could happen, but it's a very, I mean, someone, you know what that would involve, Gavin? Someone literally doing someone else's job. Because the 106 officer, monitoring officer, is separate from the planning officer. Basically, most councils have that. I mean, I work in one. So they have a Section 106 officer whose role is just to monitor compliance with the 106 agreement. Purely,
Can I just
nothing
say,
else.
Gav, send it to my main account, Jojo_Joanna_2. Cheshire East Council are corrupt to the core. Backhanders fly left, right and centre.
We know.
So this is it, guys. I think we found the how it's all happened, and that's because there's somebody who was told to go and get the role. This is speculation, just for the sakes of TikTok, speculation and hypothetically speaking. They were told to get the role. They were told to make sure it went through, and the person that's doing it was said, like, this is really, really head confusing, and there's so much going on here. I can't understand. Don't worry about it. I'll sort it. You just send it once I've done it all for you. And they've gone, okay, no problem. Easy job for me.
Yeah, it could. I mean, in theory, it could happen. I mean, I'd hope it wouldn't, because, like I said, there's 3 triggers. Those triggers have to be properly reviewed, because you have to essentially a housing, planning officer has to sign off. Those 3 triggers have been met. First occupation, basically commencement. The second trigger is first occupation by an elderly person. Let me just check the third one. Give me a second.
As I said, guys, that was just alleged speculation. That wasn't fact. I'm just saying it as like how I'm thinking in my head, how this could have worked.
Yeah, we're all role playing here. This is just theory, role playing.
So, what is the next step for the police to look at it? Like, do someone have to put a report through, or what's going on?
So, I think what we need to do is verify, send the information, ask them the questions, and if they're already on it, great. If not, then I'm sure they will be.
Realistically, bro, do you think they will answer any questions?
They can't.
No.
Because it's a public responsibility that they hold to us anyway. We're entitled to ask questions and ensure, and actually that's what they want the public to do. So I'll speak to them.
I think you should be. I think this should be reported to the local council.
Well, it needs to go to the local council anyway under the safeguarding legislation alone. And my question for Hassan when he comes back is that my understanding is as part of that sign off for, excuse me, a care home or care housing, that has to then be passed to the social care team to sign off.
I've just checked the 3 triggers, okay? So the 3 triggers are they need to notify the council before they commence.
Yeah.
They need to notify commence for the first occupation of an elderly person, and 50%. I'll tell you why, because on the first occupation, they have to pay a health contribution.
Yeah.
So the first tranche of it has to be paid on first occupation by an elderly, and the second tranche on 50% occupation by an elderly. Half the units have been occupied. That's why I think we'll be able to catch them out if somebody can simply write to the council and get written confirmation that the planning obligations in part 1 and part 2 of the 106 have been fully complied with. Then we've got them. Then we'll want to know, okay, if they've been fully complied with, can you please confirm that this site has been occupied by qualifying people? Who are the elderly people that occupy this site? Because all of the videos of Abdullah Hashim, when he's standing there with all his minions, they certainly don't.
Soldiers, they definitely don't look like heroes, do they?
Do they? And certainly the people who are there bowing to him, do they look like 65-year-old people?
It doesn't matter because there's no CQC registered person there, so that's literally their fail point right there. It literally is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's down to CQC. That's the one thing that they haven't got, which we now need to act fast because they can try. Well, the thing is, they could try, but
no, they can't. It takes too long, Grant. It's a long process.
It is a very long process.
To register the business.
Can you imagine them trying to get an examination?
Oh, but guys, you're forgetting the main important thing. What if they just pick their bags up and just move out? Then what?
Well, first of all, they need to register the business with them. Then they register the location. Then they register the individual as the responsible individual, and then a registered manager, all before they can even start.
I know what you're saying about what if they pack their bags. That's fine. Let them pack their bags and get out of crew, but we don't let them disappear. We continue to build the facts and take it with them wherever they go.
Yeah, incriminate the ones that are in leadership. They need to go. But on the business that's registered, obviously Abdullah Hashim is registered as the Pope. It says it, and everybody else is like engineer, manager. There's 4 people basically on there for Webhouse. That we knew that from a long time ago when we checked it. But anyway, yeah, this needs to be done cleverly. Letter, council, find out, council, then the social services go that way. We don't want the kids to be no issue first.
Yeah, I just want to.
They are in the comments. Dawn Hemmings, Section 106 officer from Feb 2025.
Thank you so much for that. That's let me 1 sec. I need to screenshot that and then go into look into it further.
I just want to. I want to see where the elderly in this video.
Yeah, for everybody that's wondering what's going to happen, like if they leave somewhere else, the typical trend is they rebuild and they try to regrow and resume operations. You'll see it when they leave Egypt, when they went to Sweden, when they went to Germany, and then went to the UK. But the difference all this is now is we have actual criminal investigation where the leader is a suspect.
I mean, I think all of these people are elderly, I think.
All elderly, all of them.
Yeah.
Look, yeah.
Little ones like Hussam.
Who was looking after the elderly, by the way, while they were outside Middlewich Custody Suite all night?
Some of the elderly were there, Lolo.
But not surely the ones that were in need of 24-hour care and support.
No.
I want to say this right here that Naraldin is showing. This is a paramilitary type of parade and exercise. It's not just like, oh, we're just lining up for no reason.
By the way, this is what the residents are pissed off about because they do this and scream and shout, but it's harm free apparently.
By the way, did you know? I don't know if you guys. Well, I think most people probably didn't notice this, but there's actually a subliminal message in this video, which none of you guys picked up on. Did you know that?
But that they're ready.
Yeah, it's within this clip.
Can be ready as much as they want. They're going to fall foul of a few things. But so the problem, right? So here we found out the name of the officer. They are supposed to be the person that needs to be reporting this, and they've not reported it, or have they? The guy, your chap, I think he's gone. But who are they supposed to report that to?
Brother Hassan, where's he gone? He's vanished. Guys, listen.
I know the person who was the 106 or the officer that signed it off. I don't know Can you send me, Laura, who it was in 2019 as well? But the thing is, the council change. They rotate 106. They rotate or assign the 106 monitoring responsibility internally, so for fairer things. But if somebody's not reporting it, or if they are reporting it, who is it they're supposed to report it to? That's a good question.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
they're doing this wrong.
I think this planning enforcement officer has got a big role in it. I know that's his role, but I can guarantee you he has used other people beneath him to get these things done. There's no way that this has gone undetected. Come on, this is the
Guys,
council.
my
Say that.
battery.
Oh, by the way, say there's your battery dying.
Yes, it's
All right,
dying,
I'll
guys.
switch my
Sorry.
live on straight away, guys. All of you guys come there so we can Hussein Bahari back up. Yeah.
Grant, let's speak about this tomorrow. Obviously it's quite important, and Luna Pops definitely needs to
100%. Yeah.
Everyone follow user 978.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch my live on so we can carry on this conversation in case
I need to
somebody
save this
and say
live
when
as
your
well.
battery.
Yeah, I need to save this
Yeah,
live.
save the live, and as soon as charge your phone, then come on to mine, or if you turn yours back on, then we come back here. Yeah.
No problem. All right, guys.
All right, I'll come straight over.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey,
Bye-bye.
hey, Ali.
Take care, bro. I'll see you guys soon. Oh, hold on, let me end this.
If you look closely at that video.